All right, everybody, welcome to another week of Fourever Rivals. How are we going, boys?
Lovely. How we doing, gentlemen? How we feeling?
We're doing all right. Apart from the footy, life's pretty good, mate, but we're doing all right. We're hanging in, mate. That's the main thing. We're hanging in, mate. So, Liam, how is it, man? How's the weather over there? How we doing?
Yeah. Nah, we're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. It's my favourite day of the week. It's Wednesday. We're on the pod, so get excited. Weather's starting to get a little bit cold. There's some rain tomorrow. Winter's coming, guys.
You got no idea what cold is, mate. You're coming here in June. You're going to really work out, mate. Today, I got up at 3 a.m. and it was like 2 degrees, mate. 2 degrees, mate. I got so cold, my nipples started to hurt, and that's a true fucking story.
Right. That's too much information. Oh, boy.
Manny, you're laughing there. How you going?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. How are you, Rocco? Yeah, look, I'm trying to get that image out of my mind. I can imagine you walking down the streets of Melbourne with your tight little exposed nipples there. Yeah, a bit of bondage there for you, matey. But you did say at the start of the show you're hanging in. Looks like at this stage at the moment you three are pretty much hanging out. And that's outside of the 8.
You must have waited.
Good evening, everyone.
You must have waited all week for that comment. He wrote it down on Friday night, and he would have been waiting to use that. Very good, very good. Or did you get someone to write it for you?
No, well, I just heard you say hanging in, so I thought, you know what, the hanging out. So
I like it.
Yeah.
What about Marco? How are you going, my friend?
Oh, good evening, boys. Good evening, and the viewers out there. How was the weather in Sydney? Obviously, we're having shit weather in Melbourne, but Rocco, you were out to Sydney on the weekend. So, how was that weather travelling, mate?
Look, the weather was okay. It was fairly warm. So when I got there, it was raining, and then it stopped about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It drizzled a little bit at night, but it stayed. The rain stayed away. On the Sunday was a perfect day. It was a perfect day there. It was really, really good. But during the day, that ground, mate, I'm telling you, it was tough, man. That ground was disgusting, man. You could just see the water. It was bad. You could see it. If you watch the game, there's a lot of slippering and that. I'm not making excuses because we both played on the same ground, but I'm telling you, and I was sitting like row 4, so I could see it. I'm telling you, it was bad out there, but good couple of day trip with the boys, mate. Nice. So that was all good.
Fantastic, mate. Fantastic.
So before we get on to all this, let's just get into some of the. We got Wog, our favorite Greek, huh? She's got a question. Evening, everybody in the chat. Should be a great show tonight. And looking forward to Mark's excuses why we didn't win by 5 goals predicted. I think you were you must have been about 20 goals off there, Mark, weren't you?
Yeah, certainly was, mate. There's not much more I can say about the that evening of Friday night. But yeah, we'll keep moving on, Rocco.
Well, don't worry. There'll be a bit of chat about that a bit later, mate. We got Liam. He's always our favourite little man, mate. Can't wait to jump on. Definitely, I'm going to put the link on. We got good evening, Lou, and we got Jay. How are you, mate? And Scotty.
John.
Are the Bummers even contending? I don't know if he's talking about you or us at the moment. It could be both of us now. We definitely could have a word about that. We got Sammy. How are you, mate? They got Blue Bag here. The Bulldogs had a yes. Jesus,
that's a good one.
You had a copper, mate. That was a good viewing, mate. That was not good viewing. Mate, I don't know if you should have come on tonight, mate. They're going to give it to you, man, and you deserve it. What's this one? Brock Orton. Champion.
Oh, that's Liverpool. That's young.
Ah, Liverpool. Off we go. Welcome. Haven't seen him before. Welcome. What about this bloke here? Who we got here? Evening movie photo one. Mate, we've got a few new people here. I'm liking this. We've got Seba. You guys suck other than Liam. Yeah, we love you too, mate. We love you too.
Big Seba.
Michelle's always on there. Good evening, Rivals and chat. We're going to have a good one tonight because I've got some real stuff to talk about. And we got Sam here, evening. So welcome. So before we get into it, right? I just do want to talk to Mark a little bit, right? So, Mark, like there was a game there on Saturday, and I sat there and watched it. And what I did, like, right, I analysed the game. I thought, you know what? I want to come in here and I want to, like, really work out because it all went wrong, didn't it, Mark? It all went wrong, didn't it? All of it, completely. So what I've done is I've set up and I've worked out because you lost it in the center. You lost it. That's where fucking everything starts, mate, in the center, right? And you lost it in the center. And I was watching it. I was doing a bit of replays and that, and I was watching it, and I go, you know what? I've worked out because you just weren't standing in the right spots, right? So I've got a bit of a display here for you. So what we got here, right? We got the captain standing in the middle, right? So he's there, Merritt's there, and then you've got the rest of the players, the witches' hats, right? And they were just all standing there, right? And they were like this, right? They were like this. And there's Merritt. Merritt's running around. He's running around. And the witches' hats, they're just staying there. They're not moving. Every once in a while, like a witch hat would fall, right? And then Merritt would look at him and go, what's going on? And then he'd run around, and then he'd stand up, but then this witch's hat just would not move. Like, so I've worked out the game plan. Later on, I'm going to explain how your forward line worked, right? So we've got some more of your players there. I hope everyone's like interested in that. Like that was Essendon's game plan that they set up just before the game, mate.
Oh wow!
Yeah, unfortunately, Rocco, we haven't got a game plan B. That's the thing that's been happening with the Essendon Football Club.
Oh yeah,
there's no game plan B.
No,
but that was
what I'm going to do. Yeah, no, you haven't got. It looks like you haven't got a game plan A just quietly. Don't worry about the B. You need A before you get a B going. What do you reckon? So during the night, I might just get one of your players to come on and have a chat to us, right? So he might just come on every once in a while and have a chat to us.
Now,
well done, Rocco. Well done, mate. Well done.
Now, I'm not
Been
sure.
planning that all week.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently that legendary coach that the Bombers have had that came all the way from Arden Street with all those fantastic players. Apparently, they've re-signed him. What's going on there?
I don't think they have. And the Mark will know more about this, but they did have a bit of a meeting there. They did have a bit of a meeting, a get-together, didn't they?
Yeah, I did see that on some of the media that Zach Merritt was had a bit of a luncheon with Jesus, some big bloody names that he had a bit of a chat with Joe Watson, James Hurd, Matthew Lloyd, Dyson Heppel, mate. And you know what? To be honest with you guys, that's probably a good thing that's just happened now. It just shows that we need to build this club again. And we need some of the old players that have been there, they're captains, they've won flags. We need that support. And I was glad to see that, to be quite honest. I'm not quite sure what the conversation was all about, but I'm pretty sure it was about just, getting that the culture back at the Essendon Football Club and start playing for your jumper, which I will talk about a little bit later on in the show. But it was fantastic. I don't see other clubs doing that. Maybe some other clubs should be doing it. That are
Sorry,
not.
Mark.
Yeah.
You said Job. Now, Job, he was the bloke that won the Brownlow, didn't he? Did he win the Brownlow?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, he did win the Brownlow, but
okay. But you forgot to mention something.
Yeah.
You forgot to mention something.
Hmm.
You know that, don't you?
What's that?
That with the culture, guess what else came through?
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah. Look,
Peptide.
we can always keep.
I think they were having-
Manny, sorry, Rocco, but we can always keep looking at the past. We can keep on talking about the drug saga and the issues that have happened the last 10, 15 years. But I thought it was fantastic to see that there was some, great players that had to speak to our captain. Whether it does anything different, I don't know. But I was glad to see that. I was just like, fuck, come on, man. More clubs should be doing it. If they're struggling, if Richmond, Dusty Martin come out on the weekend and he was sitting there watching the he was in the club rooms there. Just need that. You need those players to just try and build that culture and that club back again. And I think Carlton should be doing it as well. I'm not quite sure if they have done it, but they should be doing something very similar. Get the Kern hands in there, get the old players involved, and create that spirit and that fight again that we used to have as the rival clubs. That's the key.
I think at Carlton we already do that. We do that. We get a lot of the old players. Whenever there's a new jumper, they get like the players to present it, and they have their things and that. But today, look, we can talk about this a bit later. But do the clubs, and I'll talk about Carlton, really care about the past? I don't think they really do. They only care about themselves. Do they really embrace the past like supporters do? I don't know. What do you reckon, Liam?
That's an interesting point when you put it like that. I think the history of the club is always something important and should always be carried through. You want to, you aspire to be like those great teams from the past. Like, I mean, Mark just said, like, we look up to guys like Dusty and Trent Cotchin and Jack Riewoldt that have come just before and be like, that's the team that we grew up watching. That's the team that we want to be. Let's aspire to be like those blokes, Going further back, I mean, like, you still got the Jack Dyer medal, he's played however long ago now, so I think, there's still ways of honoring the history, whether it is like as important as you say it is. Maybe not. I think, some people don't like it as much. But I still think it's something that clubs integrate into their culture.
I think that you can't forget about the past, but you got to look towards the future, man. Like, sometimes looking back at the past just stunts you a little bit. But you know what? We'll move on, and because I've got some other things we're going to talk about. Before we move on, first of all, thanks to the Sporting Globe for sponsoring this channel, mate. They're great. Get down there to Northland. Make sure you get the app. Put our names down. You get your discounts and that. Get down there. They had another big day for the Sydney Carlton. I wasn't there, but apparently it got a bit rowdy out there, and security started keeping an eye on it. So can you imagine 60 Carlton supporters watching Motlop get caught from behind, mate? I'm telling you, there would have been some choice words said there. But what we're going to do also, before we go on, right now, I'm sure on last night's show, right, I'm sure I promised I would do something, and I did it last night, right? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to be happy to see this, right? Because I'm sure there's a few people out there that would love to do this to me, right? But last night we had Lyndon Hosking. He's an Olympian boxer, and he's also a silver
Commonwealth.
I just got titled Commonwealth medalist, a silver Commonwealth medalist. So we've had him a few times. Big Carlton supporter, got on there, and I've always said I want him to fucking punch me, right? So does everyone want to have a look what happened last night?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yes, man. Let's have a look at
Let's
this.
go in there. Oh, fuck it up! No tense. Don't. Hang on. Just turn a little bit that way. There you go. So I am. Listen, I'm so fucking scared here. You don't want me to hit you hard though, do you? Just no.
Yeah, give him one.
Give him.
What he wanted it.
6 out of 10, I reckon. Why did I agree to this? Ready? Give it up. No, you got to give it. Hang on, told me to do it.
There you go, guys. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there would have been fucking rapt to see that from me, mate. So I copped it. I wanted to cop a punch from a boxer, and I reckon he went about 50 or 60% there. So I hate to see fucking 100%, man. The bloke's a champion, man. I could just imagine now. I'm telling you, he hit me. You saw me. The second punch was the first one. He got me in the arm a bit. And then I thought, all right. And that's why I said, do it again, man. And I put my hands behind my back. I wanted to feel it, So I reckon he went at about 60%. And he knocked me. He knocked me over almost, So can you imagine being in the fucking boxing ring with one of these blokes and I'm copying it, you know what I mean? So, so it was...
Sorry, Rocco. When I got the opportunity, if you can invite me to your show one night on the Jumper Punch, because obviously I've not for anything, but I've done karate for about 16 years. And if there's any opportunity I can come into the show and just maybe throw a roundhouse kick to the head. All right. Can we organise something like that one night?
Yeah, we can organise that. I prefer it from a fucking Olympian, man, and that's why I wanted to. Were you wearing padding, Rocco? No, that wasn't padding. That was my fucking fat, right? So that wasn't padding, first of all. Is that Mel Gibson? That's a Lyndon Hosking, mate. He is an absolute champion. He owns Top Dog Liquor. He's a great sponsor of the show. We're going to go down to Bendigo and do some stuff up there. Definitely. I'm telling you now, I'm a little bit sore, man. I'm telling you now, just from that one punch, it's a little bit sore, man. Yeah, bloody hell, I'm telling you. I exited the screen. I'm telling you, he moved me, mate, with that little, and you could see his form. You could see he was a boxer. You could see his form, man. Yeah. He came in and he went half-hearted and he almost killed me, man. So I'm pretty happy I did that. And I just want to say something. I go through with it. And here at the Jumper Punch, mate, Carlton, the supporters, we take the punches, mate. We take the punches, mate. So, so that was good. All right, guys, what we're going to do is, I hope everyone enjoyed that. You can see everyone marsing that. They really enjoyed it. Let's get into some of this, man. All right, so we've got some big topics in, and as usual, I'm going to get my great friend in here. I know he's Barry's for that shit side there, but I'm going to get him on because I think he adds great value to conversation. So he's Andreas Black and White United. How are you, brother?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Very good, mate. Did you see that, mate? Did you see the punch I copped, mate?
I was laughing quite heavily. I was probably laughing more at Scotty Thompson's comment, but that was, and also I would love to see Mars's footage from the front as well. If you can post that, that'd be great.
We are. We're gonna post it from that view because you get a better view of my face when he hits.
I want to see slow-mo face reaction.
Like we'll try to do it. We'll try to do that slow-mo, mate. I'm telling you, man, he got me, man. He got me, and he hit me in a good spot where he wasn't gonna kill me, So he reckons there's probably a good spot to get me, but so that's good, man. I just got hit by 8. I took a mark against Ange Christou, right? I bet him in a 1-on-1, and now I've been punched by Lyndon Hosking. Mate, I'm living the fucking dream, mate. Like, I'm living the dream, mate. Don't you worry about that.
I can tell the way you're sitting. I can tell the way you're sitting too. You're a bit agitated. You're not really sitting straight. You're just taking a few deep breaths as you go.
Oh yeah, man, it was right there, man. He got me a nice one, man. It was fucking. I'm pretty wrapped with myself, man. Nice. All right. Let's talk about some things. I want to start off with. What do you want to start off with? Do you want to start off with? I want to start off with. We had a few losses this week, not in footy terms, but in people terms. So let's get straight into that. And I just want to honour, first of all, Robert Walls, legend, not only of Carlton, I think he's a legend of the AFL. The bloke. Not many players play for 3 premierships and then go and coach that team to a premiership. So there's not many players that go ahead and do that. So and went and coached 3 other sides. Great man, had a battle with cancer. So just tribute to the great Carlton player there, in Robert Walls. There's a link below that I interviewed him. I was lucky enough to interview him 3 years ago at his house, maybe 2.5 years ago, just before he got diagnosed. That is a great interview. It's just, mate, the people I've interviewed over the years, it's been an honor, man. And when I look at something like that and Robert Walls passing away, it kind of makes me think, man, like how lucky I was got to speak to the man. So he's one. Anything got to say about the great Robert Walls, man?
Obviously, may he rest in peace. But look, I'll actually watched a couple of his highlights when he was playing for Carlton many years ago now, and gee, he was quite a good player, mate. Like, quite surprised he would have got more accolades playing football these days than he was, 30, 40 years ago. So, unfortunately, very sad news. But I'll tell you what, just watching those highlights, he seemed to be a really, really
I think he kicked
top
centre half forward. He started as a backman and went to a forward, number 42, and then kicked a lot of goals. I think in the 72 grand final, I think he kicked 5 goals. So he's no mug, mate. And then he went over and coached up.
And he did grow up barracking for Essendons as well.
He did.
But it's sad news. Obviously, condolences to the family, but he's done a little bit for football as well, in coaching and.
And he was a commentator for like 16 years, so it was good. And he had the big stoush with Kevin Sheedy when Kevin Sheedy said to him that he went over and hit over in Brisbane. And he actually shut him up and told him a few truths about how hard it is to go and actually go to your own bank to take out money to pay your best and fairest because the club couldn't afford it. So the bloke done well.
Just on that, Rocco, too, I think it was in was it 2005 or 2006? He was inducted into the AFL Hall of Fame as well, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I just think that he's obviously a legend of the game, not just for what he did at Carlton, but obviously coaching and all those like that angle and stuff as well. I just think it's sad that someone like him, he'll probably get elevated to legend status sooner rather than later, or you'd like to think so anyway. I just think it's a shame that sometimes when this happens to so many great people, they elevate them to legend status after they've passed. I think it would have been nice for that to happen beforehand for him. But Hall of Famer, obviously before my time and stuff, but he was obviously coaching, when I was younger and stuff, and you get to know the coaches, and your parents tell you about them all the time. And obviously my dad, being a mad Collingwood supporter, told me about Robert Walls at Carlton and stuff like that. So but fantastic commentator as well. There's a lot of memories growing up as a young kid and as a teenager in my early adulthood, hearing him commentate to some epic games and stuff, especially on Channel 10 when Channel 10 had the footy rights as well. So very sad day. But at the end of the day, he's not sick anymore and he's at peace and stuff. And, that's what he wanted. And, I'm sure he's happier wherever he is now.
Yeah, and Wallsy chose to meet his maker. Takes big balls to pull your own plug, and that's so he did that voluntary assistance. So what is it called? I'm not sure. I can't remember anymore.
No, it's voluntary assisted suicide, but it's approved by the government. I've got a family friend who did the same thing through the liquid, not through the pill that they take, and it's something that if the doctors and everyone have to agree on it. And it gets marked off by the government beforehand. So once it gets marked off by the government, then it's up to the person then if they want to continue the process and stuff. So it does take a lot of balls to do that. But at the end of the day, if that's what they want and that's how they're going to feel better and stuff, then I'm sure the family would have supported that decision.
100%. And he went out the way he played his football, tough. He wasn't going to let anyone dictate the way he went out. And he decided on his own. He had a few battles. He lost his wife previously to cancer, and I think he just didn't want to go through it anymore, and it was pretty bad at the time. But no, look, great man. So there's one. Yeah, we definitely loved him when he was Rexy Rexy, still the best commentator ever, and Wolsey on there. They had a few Stouses out there, so that was good. So that was good. And then there was Selwood, of course. Selwood again. So that one there is a bit. I mean, his brother took his life only 3 months ago, and then the twin brother. I don't know how many times I've never heard that before. Like, I can't imagine what the family's going through. But yeah, so condolences to the family, the great Selwood. I know that is the other Selwood still at Collingwood, or is there?
Yeah,
is there
Scott's the assistant coach, but he according to the reports and stuff like that on the weekend before the Adelaide game, the players weren't made aware of what had happened.
Yeah.
They were only obviously aware that Scott had not attended the game, and Collingwood had flown him out to WA pretty much first thing in the morning. Once they found out, they organised it and he went. And then I think the players were made aware of it after the game, which I find is pretty strict by the club, considering how powerful social media and stuff like that is these days, and it's pretty much everywhere. But yeah, very sad news. I couldn't imagine what that family's going through at the moment, and people close to that family. So, but I mean, everyone's fighting their own battles, man. And you know, it's just I've had 2 guys this week alone that have called me to say that they're struggling with stuff at the moment, and you know, it's 2 really close mates I've had. One I was with at the footy called me after, and the other one was, you know, a day before, and it was just a general chat about life and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's just that sometimes it's just, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with them, whether they're going to go see a psych or whatever, or talk to other people, whatever it is. But sometimes it's just a phone call. It's just a conversation with your mates. It's going on to something like this, you know, and just having a quick chat with someone, and you know, just feeling better about things, I suppose. But yeah, back to the Selwood family. When you heard about it, I had to take a deep breath and be like, surely that's not true. Like, that's how I felt. That was my initial reaction. Like, and then thinking about him, thinking, man, he must have struggled so bad. And then you think about the family side of things, and yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine as a parent. Like, we've all, except for Liam, we're all parents here, so I can't even imagine that. But I want to get to the other people's thoughts on this. The other panelists here, thoughts on this. You know, for the brother 3 months ago, I don't know if it's something chemical. You know, that they're clinically depressed. It was strange that they both did it within 3 months. I don't know the story. Did they talk about it? Was the death of his twin brother so bad that he couldn't take it anymore? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just there's more questions than answers here. And but is it tough for footballers after they finish football and that? Like, man, it must be a tough gig, man. You get out there, you're on top of the world, and then all of a sudden, man, you got no one around you. There's no one looking after you. Probably not recognised anymore. You're not playing in front of people anymore. It must be hard, man. So yeah. What do you reckon, guys? Liam, you're a young man.
First of all, it's pretty sad news. We don't want to hear it. I was out at East Perth when I heard it as well, and I actually got to meet him down there a couple of times as well at East Perth, and it was always really nice to me. And I know everyone else at the club all thought really highly of him as well as a man. So yeah, it's always a shock when you hear something like that. It's terrible news. You don't want to hear stuff like that. Yeah, I don't want to make any assumptions. I feel like, but probably losing your brother earlier, that would definitely be like, if I lost someone really close to me, I'd probably be struggling as well, as we all would. It's unimaginable when it happens. But yeah, as far as what the AFL can do, Enzo's comment up on the screen, that's a good one. As far as I'm aware, I think the Players Association has a few things to players after they finish the game, including stuff.
We got Spud. We got the Spud round there, or the Spud game between
that was
Carlton. So I think there is a kind of a mental, but do we need another round for it? I don't know.
Yeah, that was really good as well when they did the speech at the start of that game. It was Tom Boyd and I think it was his Spud's daughter. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what her name is. Yeah, no, look, it's really important. But yeah, as I was saying, that there is stuff that the Players Association do have for players out after they exit the game. But yeah, it's weird. It's hard because once you leave the game, where do you go? 'Cause for a lot of them, playing professional sport, playing professional football, it's a different life to what all of us live. And so once you kind of exit out of that, it's kind of like, and you don't know where to go after unless you've got that plan. It's probably hard. It's a big change. People go through it all the time. Like I've come out of stuff and then started something new. It's kind of been like, well, what do I do now? It happens. Yeah, all I can say is, hopefully the AFL is giving the right resources and right support to the players after they exit the game. And again, just thoughts with the Selwood family. I hope they're doing well in a very difficult time. I don't know, Mark, what do you reckon?
Oh, look, I mean, obviously it's very sad news, mate. I just couldn't comprehend, how these guys would be dealing with it. But I think it all just comes down to the end of the day, it's all about mental health. Whether you're a player, or a male or female, I think we need to talk more about it. People need to, like Andreas was saying, talk to people. Just talk to your friends, talk to your family. There's help out there. There's helplines. I went through it a couple of years ago. I was diagnosed with kidney cancer. I don't want to get too personal, but I was out for about 10 to 12 weeks recovering, and I suffered through a little bit of depression and just thinking, what am I going to do in my future, my life? But I'm a strong believer that there's help out there. And if there's any viewers or whoever wants to talk to me, if you want to talk to any of the boys out here, I'm pretty sure, we're happy to have a chat. But it's very important. It's very important that you talk, speak to someone. It's tough out there these days, the way society is. But I think we need to communicate a lot more with issues and problems. It's these days. I think the AFL have got free services for existing players and past players. I think there's free services out there for people to speak to, and I think some of the players weren't even aware of that. That there was some help out there after playing football. So just talk, boys and girls. It doesn't matter who you are. But it's important that we speak to each other and talk about it, because it's a very sad issue.
100%. Spot on, Mark. And I know this is a bit of a summer, but I think it's something we need to talk about. Before I get to Manny, I've got a question here. But we also it'll be coming out. I showed a bit of a clip. They did. Kenny Hunter does a great course called the Fifth Quarter, and it's an organisation that helps players after footy. Outside of the AFL, they're trying to get the AFL funding to help them, but they do great. So I'm going to put that out. I interviewed some great players there about that, and they were talking about it. So there are places to go. Always talk to someone. Before I get to Manny, I might even ask him this question. There's a question here. It might be a bit controversial, but I think people have talked about this, right? It's this one here from Joe. Thoughts on, they call people selfish when they take their own lives, right? I've heard it. I had this discussion on the weekend with someone that said it, right? My take on is it, right? I know people might think they're trying to get out, but I've looked a bit into it, especially when Robin Williams, the great comedian, died. And you say, like, how can he take his life? Yeah. But these people, what they do is, by them taking their lives, they actually think they're doing everyone a favor around them, and because they feel like they're a burden to people. And is they don't want to be a burden anymore. So it's not about them being selfish. It's almost them thinking about everyone around them, So, like I don't understand it completely, but you know what I mean? To say they're selfish, I don't know, man. But it's a great question, Manny.
Oh, look, it's a difficult topic, Rocco. I think over the years, it's fair to say that there has been a stigma where, if someone ever had that concern or issue, or that to open up and say, that they're not doing well, they're looked upon and etc. Now there are many areas where have opened up now, where you've got Lifeline, and you've got True Blue, and you've got all these other avenues where you can. But sometimes you just don't know what can lead one person. You mentioned about Robin Williams. Now, he's a bloke who, people, sitting there saying that he took his life, but he actually suffered from a disease called Lewy body disease, which is a link to the dementia family. And, he, at the time, mentally, he didn't realize what he was doing, but by the time he realized what he was doing, it was literally too late. So, sometimes you just don't know what leads to people to do what they do. I think it's a very sensitive topic for those who have had many people lose their lives. Unfortunately, some people tend to see it more often than others. But I think it's my sympathy goes out to any family that has gone through the trauma of that. And I think that it's all great that footy's. It's not great that these players have lost their lives, but I think it's just the case that there's so much that football can do, but I think at the end of the day, it all comes to what can the individual do to try and help themselves. Some people can, some people can't, some people are afraid to, some people lead in different lives where they can't do anything about it. So look, it's going to be it's a difficult task, and it's hard for everybody, but it's definitely not easy, and I just hope that things do improve, especially when you got superstars that take their lives. It's these two brothers. It's left the sad part of football, but it's amazing at how it's affected so many people. So may they rest in peace, and And I just
100%. And the main issue, and we'll get onto some footy stuff now, but I just wanted to talk. I think the main thing I want to get, I think Andreas said it, Mark said it, mate. And this is what I love about what we're doing, what Andreas does with his channel, and then what we're doing is the community we built. Look, I found in our little community of the Jumper Punch, we've all become really good friends. We meet up, and there's always something to talk to. I've had a couple of the Jumper Punch family who've actually talked to me about their problems over the last months. You know what I mean? And I'm happy to talk to them, and that's what I love. I just want to say hi to Jay. He's in Italy. I live in Italy. So hello, Jade. And I was talking to some of the ESL students, age 16, 17 males, and they said that mental health is in sport isn't even an issue here. I don't know if it is. It isn't. I reckon it's an issue all over the world. But yeah, so that's it. So I think that's it. Just condolences, everyone. I thought we'd get that out. Make sure there's always someone to talk to, man. There's always some, and especially being men, we seem to take a lot on, and we don't want to worry about it. You know what I mean? And especially someone like me, man. I come from the school of hard knocks, mate. You saw how hard I copped that punch, man. I don't talk to anyone, but over the years, I've learned to get better at it. So I do a lot more conversation now, and what I've worked out is I'm pretty fucked up. Yeah, I'm pretty fucked up. So that's what I've worked out in my life, man. So yeah. So everyone, TJP is such a good group. We are. All right, I want to get into some AFL now, right? I want to get into some AFL. Let's talk about this AFL. Where is the AFL going? Do you think that the game has got better, mate, or has it got worse over the last few years with this administration? I think, I said this last night, the AFL is such a good product. The football is such a good product that it'll just keep climbing because we love the game. But as far as what they're doing, the administration, I think they've gone backwards. They're never going to lose ground because it's it's the best game in the world. The people who run this, like Dylan and Lara, Lorna, whatever the fuck her name is, right? They've come into the easiest job in the world, mate. I'm telling you, just come in, man. It's just a big rolling snowball. But I think they've gone backwards, man. I think they've gone backwards. Umpiring, the way they administrate, the way they dealt with a few things over the last few weeks, I think they've lost the plot. And seriously, something's got to be done about it. They've got to take some sort of accountability for it.
You know, Roger, I partially agree with what you're saying. That they're stepping into a huge community, and the AFL, is a huge community, and there's a lot of money there. But I think it's fair to say that, they have worked really hard to try and minimize injuries in the sport by, saying, right, if you do that, there's, you get 3 weeks off, or you do this, you get 4 weeks. So by increasing and focusing on the amount of time you get for the punishment you do, I think this is them thinking about, improving the game in terms of the safety of it. It's the game's a lot quicker nowadays. The players are just, they're phenomenal, and injuries will happen. But I think, to be fair to the AFL, they're trying their best they can. But I think that's just something at the moment. You're right. Something is missing. Something is missing now.
The product is working.
Just on that, I think there's 4 things that is majorly wrong with the AFL at the moment. And the first one is the umpires need to be full-time. And I think that's probably the biggest out of, if you want to, the on-field side of things. And I said this in a chat that we did a couple of weeks ago or about a month ago, whatever. There needs to be hubs in each capital city, umpires dedicated there. That's their clubhouse. That's their full-time place of employment. That's where they train. That's where they get paid. The AFL has got a plethora of money to pay these umpires. You can pay the best umpire $500K a year, and that's a perfect pathway for a past player to even get into the umpiring gig, because they're going to earn a lot of money and they know they understand the game properly. That's definitely something that needs to be fixed up. The other one is the AFL, Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon. It's taken them 3 statements to make in regards to the Lockie Schultz incident against Fremantle about the concussion and stuff like that, with just bullshit lying from the umpires. 3 statements they had to come out. When has the AFL, in any topic, any issue, had to come out and make 3 statements about the same thing, correcting the statement before? The AFL's come out and made statements about certain things over time, whether it was COVID or a tragedy or whatever, but never have they made 3 statements correcting themselves. So that's another thing. They've got to fix up all their transparency with the fans.
Before you go on, but them making 3 statements says a lot. It says a lot that they did not get this right. They didn't research it. They didn't talk to the appropriate people. They didn't do what they had to do before you come out and make a statement, right, like that. And that just shows how incompetent, especially the leaders are. Yeah.
100%. The other one too is they've got to fix up the rubbish fixturing. The fixture is too compromised. I'm not even going to go into the draft, but the fixture is too compromised. How teams, and I'm not saying this because you're here, Rocco, and you're a Carlton supporter, but the fact that I'll use them as an example, they play the bottom sides twice before Collingwood plays one bottom side once is ridiculous. And it could be like that for other clubs. I'm only using that as an example. So they've got to fix the fixturing. The other thing is the tribe. You go on.
It's not just like, and you're right, we do play West Coast today, but Collingwood have less interstate games, you know what I mean? And then who plays who twice? Of course, it's compromised.
100%. Yeah.
But the problem is with that, what do you do? How do you fix it when you're not playing each other twice? Like, how do you fix that?
Why don't they play, the first 17 rounds is everyone plays each other once, obviously 17 rounds. And then after that, maybe, they always do TBA. They announce the next 6 rounds of where they're playing, what times and so forth. maybe have a look at the ladder and start adjusting at the last 6 or 7 rounds where the bottom, teams play against each other and the top teams play against each other.
Yeah,
Because
they could do something like that. I mean, they do it with the times and the.
One thing they should do. How about we all play each other once before we start playing each other again?
That's what I'm saying. That's 100%.
How about we do that first, and then we can move on to work out the rest of it. But
Correct.
How about we all no fucking buy at the start of the season, right?
Yeah.
None of that shit. Let's just play each other once, and then at least we know where we're at after we play each other once.
Yeah. My other point was the other point I was going to make was just that the tribunal and the match review panel is just too inconsistent with what the AFL is saying, and there's too many decisions like with the head high contact and stuff, and some players getting off and some players, not playing, not getting suspended, then getting like the Paul Curtis tackle. That's ridiculous. Like there needs to be some sort of. I understand it's outcome based, and we've spoken about it before, but there's just those little things that have gone too far, which are wrecking the product, I believe, on the field because the players are obviously a lot more hesitant at times. And when a player is not hesitant and they're going in hard as for the ball, then something happens and they get suspended or they get reported or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think they're probably the main things. But I'd love to see, and I hate the NRL and I hate the way they're so arrogant with a bullshit product and stuff like that. But Jesus, I would love it if the AFL board and the people running the competition were as outspoken and were as arrogant as what they were, because then you would have a great product with arrogant people who love what's being produced. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? I just think we should take a leaf out of their book and in administration wise and be a little bit more like that. But I just think we're too soft, and I'm not going to buy the whole thing that they said on SEN. I think it was this morning or yesterday about, you can't talk about Laura Kane like that because it's misogyny and all this type of crap. I'm not buying that shit. It's the right person for the right job. If she's not doing a good job as the head of football or whatever she is, then she needs to go. And you can get another female in. If she's going to do a better job, then get her in or whatever. But there needs to be something fixed up there because they've taken over the easiest 2 jobs. I mean, seriously,
you get paid a lot of money. Mate, you come in there, it's the product's good. And you know what? This bit about her being a female, I don't want to, I'm sick of this shit, mate. It's got nothing to do with the female. It's got to do with her doing the job. And I'll give you a perfect example, right? Liam, your team. Who was the president, right?
Penny.
While you were winning the flags, right?
Brendan Gale, yeah. Oh, Peggy.
Right. No, the chick. Peggy,
whatever.
Peggy, yeah.
American lady.
Peggy O'Neill or whatever. Mate, has anyone ever said anything about her? She did a great job. No one cared that. But don't give me this rubbish about it's a female. It's about what I'm giving it to. Sorry, I'm giving it to that Dylan also, mate. He's copping it too, mate. Don't you worry about that, mate. And the other thing is, they had a chance to get someone like a Brendan Gale or even a Graham Wright, right? Someone like a Brendan Gale in there, right? And they went with this, what's his name? Dylan. What's his name? Dylan Buckley.
Andrew Dylan. Yeah.
All right. And they went with him. You know what? And I'm going to say it. It's a boys' club. It's a boys' club, mate. And they got Andrew Dillon in there. I think that Gale would have been, and now he's gone off to Tasmania. And you watch, man, the bloke's a gun, mate. What do you reckon, Liam, about all this? You know what I want to talk to you about this? We'll talk about the on-field stuff. This deliberate, insufficient intent is an absolute fucking joke. It's rubbish. I hate it. No one knows what's going on. I've seen things where you've been swung around 180 degrees. You get the ball to your foot. If you get caught with it, you're going to be holding the ball. You try to keep it in, and they call it insufficient intent. Last week I saw Cribber running towards the ball with another player, kicked it forward with his foot, right? Insufficient intent. What was he supposed to do, bro? Take it out of the umpire's hands, mate. Then making them decide, right, and interpreting what the rule is a joke. You know what? Let's just get to the fucking point here. Let's just make it. Last man touches the ball. It's a free kick against you. Full stop, because that's where it's going to. Or what was wrong with the ball going out and throwing it in? I don't understand what was wrong with that. Are they trying to speed up the game? Is the game any faster? Are they trying to score more goals? I guarantee they're not scoring more goals. In 1971, there was an average of 120 points a game scored. 120 points a game, right? What are the averages now? What they're doing is not working, mate. Sometimes the wheel does not have to be reinvented, mate. Liam?
Yeah, you make a few good points there. I think the two big errors with it is back to the umpiring. It's inconsistency. I don't know if they don't know their own rules or if they're not sure how to officiate the rules and do the right things. And then it's not consistency. Kind of consistency. It's not exactly what I was thinking. I've cooked myself here. No, yeah, it's more how they approach it week to week. Like it just seems like the rules chop and change too much. Like it.
Well, I don't think they change rules, but they concentrate on a certain, for example, the 15-meter. This year, what have they done? They've concentrated on it, and they've turned it into a basket case now, you know.
Right.
And
that's what they seem to do. Yeah, they just kind of pick something, and they'll be like, "Oh, if a player gets spun and tackled and he kicks it, that's all right. But everything else, we're going to call deliberate."
They did that in 23.
It goes nowhere. Yeah.
They did that in 2023. Sorry to interrupt, but they did that. We're halfway through the season. They changed the interpretation of the rule or something like that about spinning or about prior opportunity or whatever it is. It was halfway through the season, and then it actually got better as the season went on. But why do it halfway through the season? Why not just stick to the same rule at the start of the year? In regards to the deliberate rule, just do the last touch like they do in AFLW or in some local footy games, depending if they actually haven't got. In
actual fact, mate, they do it with the sample, mate. It's last touch between the 50s. As long as it's not in the 50, last touch. Why can't they do that, man? Because that's where they're going.
Yeah, so in local footy, in EDFL now, if some of the games like the reserves games or the third grade games don't have enough official umpires and they've got to get helpers like to do the boundary umpiring and stuff like that, the umpires come in and tell the players before the game that inside, like between the 50s, it's last touch. Inside the 50, they're going to pay deliberate if it's deliberate. Otherwise, it's a boundary throw-in. And it works. The game is actually quicker when they do that. And you see it in AFLW. I know AFLW is not a great product, but if you're going to be paying the insufficient attempt or the deliberate out of bounds all the time, just scrap it and just pay the last touch and then only pay a boundary throw-in if it goes out of bounds. It's like a fisted contest and someone punches it over or it's a contest and it just goes whatever. Just do that.
I agree. Because it's a joke. You go to the footy, man, and now the whole crowd scream. Every time the ball goes in the boundary, the whole crowd screaming. It's actually making
because you're expecting the free kick regardless as soon as the ball goes over. But what about that one for I think it might have been the Richmond North Melbourne game where I think one of the Richmond players kicked it and it was smothered and it went out of bounds and he paid deliberate. Like it was actually touched off the boot. Like the ball deviated. And he's paid deliberate. Like, are you serious? Like, is this where we're at? And then you got the other one, and then you got the other one at the SCG where it comes off McGovern's foot. It's not even a bump ball; it bounced well in front of his foot and goes out. Why can't the boundary umpire just turn around to the other umpire and say, "Listen, I wasn't sure what it was. Let's just throw it in regardless," even if he couldn't say it because of his angle. Just turn around and say, I wasn't sure. Well, we're not going to pay the free kick to Sydney because it could be the wrong decision. Or better yet, like you did at Essendon versus North Melbourne, press your little button on your chest or on your ear and say, I'm getting word from above. It's a boundary throw-in.
They're not admitting that, man. They're not admitting that. So, Mark, what do you reckon? Do you reckon, right? There's too many. Do you reckon there's too many umpires? I think 4 is too many, man.
I've been saying this for the last 2 years, mate. There's way too many umpires, and even if you've got full-time umpires, obviously the RFL's got to realise that you've got 36 umpires a week then, so they're going to be paying for their wages. So that's
money's not an issue, Mark. Come on, money's not an issue.
I'm just referring to that's just your field umpires, and then you've got your boundary umpires and your goal umpires and so forth. So maybe money's not an issue, but that's why they're probably holding back on that full-time position, because you need 36 umpires during the week to umpire the 9 games. Anyway, if that goes by your mathematical fiction.
Maybe Mark's got a quick point there, because if you got more umpires, the quality is going to diminish, right? So we're trying to get more umpires. Yeah. The other thing is there's 4 interpretations on the ground.
There should be 2 umpires. There should be 2 field umpires.
And the other thing is, if you're going to have 3, 2, 4, they should always umpire together, because then you get to know each other like a team, and then you can work it together. Because the frustrating thing is when umpire pays one interpretation and then the other umpire pays the other one. So that's the other thing. These are just little things that they can do to fix it up, man. And make them full time, for crying out loud, because it's frustrating.
I believe making it full time, that's not an option. But it's how many full time umpires can you have that the AFL is going to pay for? But
what's the difference? I don't get that. I don't understand that, though. Sorry. How can full-time umpires diminish the game? Full-time umpires, they get better pay. They umpire better. If you get paid more to do your job, you're going to be producing better quality results. So I just think that if you've got full-time umpires, it's basically like another club sort of thing, part of the AFL, and it works better.
So why don't they do it, mate? So it's a very simple equation, Andreas.
Because they haven't done it because it's never been done before. They've never done it, but we're seeing so much stuff ups now with the administration side of things. If there was going to be a time to do it, you do it next season, and if the seasons are also getting longer, so you're going to need to have more people invested into the game, regardless. So I don't know.
I think we go back to maybe 3 umpires. And to be
3 or 2,
3 umpires. Not anything, but I reckon. Obviously, if you get more experienced umpires that don't have to do the kilometers to run up and down the ground like a fucking 2-by watch, so you have one experienced umpire in a forward 50, another one in the other opposite side 50, and then you've got a young maybe umpire that can do the kilometers up and down the ground. So you're getting your 50-year-old umpires. I think I spoke this about last week with Scotty. Referring that most of the umpires these days are pretty much older and more professional, but they're not doing the Ks. They're not running up and down like 2-by watches. They're just umpiring a certain section of the ground and umpiring another section of the ground, and you get young fellas. If you want to get 4 umpires, have the 4 umpires, but have 2 experienced on each side and have 2 of them running up and down. And they're the ones.
I just don't understand. I get that, but why couldn't you just have 3 then? 1 in that 50 area, 1 in the middle, and 1 in the other 50 area, and they don't have to run too much. They can overlap if they need to, and they've got a walkie-talkie on them, and they can just say, yours, mine.
Exactly.
That's just common sense.
Where's the walkie-talkie coming from? Is it coming from upstairs or is it coming from downstairs?
Between the umpires on the field.
They do that now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they can overlap, they can do whatever. It's just such an easy fix. I don't understand why the AFL doesn't do it, because it just releases so many issues and problems. It's just it's frustrating. But
I think the 4 umpire rule, it doesn't work. I don't think it works.
I believe that I believe it's got worse, right? So it's definitely showing that it's not working. And at the end of the day, people that say, but does it matter? It's full time. Of course it matters. Because if I've got to go to school, right, and because a lot of them are teachers, I'm going to go and teach school, and I'm going to go mark assignments, and then I've got to go and umpire a game. What, you think that's not going to affect you? Far out. It's the biggest sport in Australia, mate. Just fucking make them full time, mate. Seriously.
There's a comment here from Luke Foligno. Lou Foligno says less umpires will result in missed free kicks. How many free kicks are they missing now? And there's 4 of them. You know what I mean? You're taking 1 away. Big, I think you should take 1 away. Big deal. They miss free kicks all the time, and they pay the ones they shouldn't pay. So what's the difference?
Manny?
It's a subject that we've been talking about for a while now, Rocco. And we know we've been talking about umpires full time. We've been talking about umpires getting it right. a fine example was, the game with Carlton where every single person on the ground saw that ball bounce, except for those two umpires that were 10 metres away. Sometimes I think to myself, they both see something and they're both not sure and they're both looking at each other. What's wrong with saying, you know what? I didn't see it. Fuck it. Let's not fucking challenge it. It's one of those situations. But they can't get it right. They can't even get the video footage right. They can't even see if a player accidentally touches the ball or if the ball hits the post. I mean, the worst thing about it is that we talk about the AFL being such a big sport in this country, but yet that they come across as second-rate amateurs when you compare them to the world game, the soccer game, American football. American football, mate, they know by the millimeter. They actually they saw an ant crawling on a football and they could pick it up on camera. That's how their technology is and the money's there. And we talk about the AFL being a multi-billion dollar. That's a lot of money and they can't get it right. They'll never get it right. And it's frustrating. And this is the thing that we talk about this every week. And my question is, the media ask this question all the time. I mean, what 20 years' time, they're going to be saying, oh, this is what we were thinking and this is what nothing's changing. It's becoming frustrating.
So Manny, what do we need, mate? What do we need? We need better cameras. We need better surveillance.
I think the problem is, we talk about the umpires. You said, one in the front, one in the middle, one. I reckon it's a circle. You cut into four. You know what? 4 umpires. This is your quarter. This is your quarter. This is your quarter. This is your quarter. Keep it like that. Simple as that. And you know what? If they got that, they're able to communicate with each other. And if you need to have that 5th umpire that sits up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky, he can maybe sit there and say, hey, you know what? He may see something that the others can't see, where he can quickly just turn around and say, hey, you know what? You got it wrong. The ball did bounce. It's not a free kick. And that's something that they don't need to sit there and worry about it because they can always refer to quickly. Let's refer back to, and that'll help so much.
The cameras.
So I'll give you these. I can give you two options here. There's 2 issues in this, right? I think since the goal line technology has been brought into the AFL, we'll talk about goal umpires for a second because they're part of this too, yeah? Since the goal line technology has been brought in over the last, 10 seasons now, whatever it is, I feel as if the goal umpires are not backing themselves and not making the correct call and are too scared to turn around and say, no, we're not going upstairs. I'm on the line, that ball was touched. Or no, we're not going upstairs, the ball was over the line, right? The goal umpires have no balls now because of this technology that's been brought in. On the flip side, though, would you rather technology be brought in like Hawkeye in the tennis or like cricket or like the NFL have their technology with the lines and the broadcasters and stuff show it when there's a first down or whatever it is, yeah? Would you want that similar technology brought into the AFL where the game becomes a little bit more stop-start, but every decision is correct?
I think for scoring, I would take it. I would take
100%
it.
You would. 100%.
I would take it because that's the big one. And you know what happens? For example, you're right about the umpires because in cricket, once technology started getting in, you notice that they don't make run-out decisions anymore. Everything goes upstairs now.
They don't even make LBW ones now.
No. And in my days, they used to make it, and I'm telling you, 90% of the time it was right, And then when they got it a little bit wrong, you kind of accepted it, and it was done. With the technology, you look at tennis, it's computer, right? So you know that the ball, they get the tracking, and then it's out by a millimeter. So it's a computer. It's technology. You know that it might be slightly wrong, but you accept it, don't you? You take it. When you see that ball just miss, you don't go, oh, that's technology. You go, oh, yeah, that was out. Why don't we do it with the AFL? Just in those decisions, they've got the technology and invest in fucking some good cameras. It's not hard, mate. Invest in good cameras.
Or, Rocco, you put it all in the bin and you go back to the umpire's decision on the day, that's it. And we don't have to worry about all that type of stuff.
with the replays and that, they'll get
Yes.
everyone will start getting
Obviously.
criticised. Yeah,
Yes.
so you've got
yes.
to do something.
I get that, but I'm just saying it alleviates all the bullshit.
I would love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Back to the old days, mate. That's what I would love.
Nah, I got to back Andreas in. I think it's easier just to get rid of it. Is that if you're going to get it wrong with the technology, may as well back to people who are.
Well, that's the thing. If you're going to get it wrong, exactly. If you get it wrong with the goal umpires, right? If you get it wrong and then the replay later on shows that it was touched or the ball was out of bounds or whatever it is, at least then you're relying on human error and you can understand it happens. Yeah. But when you've got the technology there and you can see it, like, for example, Jeremy Cameron's kick against Collingwood where he kicked it from the fucking Pullman Hotel car park, yeah? He played on out of bounds. He's right in front of the umpire. You can see it from the replay. You know what I mean? So you've got the technology, call it. If it's otherwise, just it's a human error. I would rather have a human error than have a human error with the technology that it fixes it and you're not utilizing it.
Exactly. The other thing is like how often. Sorry. The other thing is like how often do they actually go up and change the decision? Like they'll go and they'll be like, "Oh, score review. I just want to check that it's touched."
Yeah.
Yeah. They've called it as touched. They go review it. It's been touched. It's like, well, why
goes back to umpire's call anyway.
Something. Yeah. Like, what's the point if you already got the decision? Just back yourself in and be like, "Yep, it's touched. I'm not going upstairs. That's the decision." Yep, I'm with Andreas. Scrap it.
Yeah. Thank Oz, mate. He's been a member for 9 months. He's a great supporter. AFL needs to go back to 3 umpires. 4 is just too many also. And I'll be at the Carlton GWS. I'll be there too, mate. I'll be there too. And no regrets. I'll have to agree with you here. That bounce is starting to OD me.
Yep.
If they do want to keep the bounce, I've got one recommendation. If they want to keep the bounce in the middle for the thing, that's fine. But you start the clock once the first player touches the ball, right? Because you don't think it makes a difference, right? But when you see those missed bounces, 2 or 3 seconds come off. You do that a couple of times a game, 3 times a game, that's 6, 7, 8 seconds. You know what 6, 7, 8 seconds is in a game? It could mean
a premiership. That's a premiership, man, right there.
It means taking a mark or not taking a mark. And you watch it. Watch it next week, guys. When they miss it, look at the clock, and there's 2 or 3 seconds that disappear. Right?
And you know,
that is a big thing.
And you keep on adding the other types of time wasting, and you'll see this next week as well. Every time you kick the ball, it goes through a goal for a point. The time doesn't stop unless the umpire goes like that. So by the time he runs across and he goes, that's when the time stops. Now, if you've kicked 15, or had 15 scoring shots, the other teams had 15 scoring shots, that's 30 scoring shots. There's a few seconds added onto that game. So when the ball crosses a line, when you've kicked it, the time should stop. You should not have to wait for the umpire to go.
It shouldn't be for the goal umpire to do that. It should be the field umpire when he does that. When he tells the goal umpire, when the field umpire does that, that's like him saying time off, time on. Correct. That should be the rule. You know, the goal umpire is just signaling it for the crowd, really, and to wave his sticks for the other guy at the other end so they can write it in their book.
It's the field umpire. That's when the time stops. Is it when he says all clear?
That's when it should stop.
That's when it should stop.
It's not. It's stopping when the umpire is signaling.
I'm agreeing with you. Yes, you're right. That's when they're doing it, but it shouldn't be when the goal umpire does that. It should be when the field umpire signals it, because he's the guy officiating the game, not the goal umpire.
Correct.
Yeah. Because what happens if, for example, like the field umpire does that, the goal umpire trips over?
Yeah,
right?
or he has to move across. He has to move all the way across.
Up again, and he's wasted 5 seconds before he does the thing. You know, that could happen, and then what? You lose 5 seconds. I'm telling you, when the game is played on centimeters, millimeters, seconds, man, get it right, mate. Get it right. All right. Very good. I like that. You know what? There were some games. You want to get into some games?
We don't want to get into no games. I don't want to get into no games.
All right. What we'll do is while we got Andres, and then I'll put up the link there if anyone wants to have a chat.
I've got to get me medication, boys, for the next games. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do need
Yeah,
medication.
I still brought the syringe for you, man. I was going to bring a potato instead, but I've got the syringe for you if you want medication.
And I've got the Essendon players.
I was looking for my
that
son's
looks like
toy.
is that Centerfield? Is
That's
that Centerfield?
And then we've got big 2 meter Peter there. Look, he's a bit bigger. See, so we've got 2 meter Peter there. So
You beat me to it, Rocco. I was looking for my son's toys before when I was packing them up, and I couldn't find the witch's hat I was spewing, but you beat me to it. Well
I had him. So we'll talk, but while we'll do that, before we go, I'll show when Mark comes on, but we'll get used to have this conversation. So Collingwood is 11-12-78 to 10-8-68. Collingwood against Kawarana. Why don't they just leave it to Adelaide? What's going on, mate? So I actually watched that game. I was in Sydney. I was in a pub, so waiting for my flight. I actually watched most of this game. It wasn't a bad game. I think Collingwood did get a few lucky free kicks there, I just have to say. But at the end...
Jesus Christ, are you serious? Fuck.
Look,
Yeah.
can I
You've got to be kidding me, Rocco. Come on, man.
Do you think Rekashali's do you think that was holding the ball?
Which one?
The one where he got caught in the pocket there. He got caught by I don't know what Collingwood player.
Was that the one where Bo McCreary tackled Rankin?
Yes, Rankin. Sorry, that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Rankin.
so just quickly before we go in, I'll do this really quickly. That was the only decision that Collingwood got where, and I put this on my video, and some of my subscribers, like they hammered me about it. I believe that was holding the man. I don't believe that was holding the ball. The reason being is because he wasn't bouncing it when he got tackled. He actually fumbled the ball without being tackled. He was then tackled without possession of the footy. Now, as a Collingwood supporter, I will take the holding the ball because we never get free kicks in the forward 50. Okay. But
you take the kick.
As a football supporter, I turned to my old man because that was right underneath us when it happened. I turned to my old man and I said, "That's not a free kick." People think, "Oh, he got tackled while he was bouncing the ball." If you look at it, he wasn't bouncing the ball. He actually fumbled the ball when he was running. So he didn't come out in the tackle. He wasn't bouncing it. He wasn't kicking it. Nothing. It's holding the man. And then on AFL 360, okay, last night, Razor Ray's on there with Gary Lyon and Jared Waitley, and Razor Ray turns around and goes, "That's technically holding the man." And they were talking about it again on SEN today. So that 110%. But again, we've gone through another week. I don't want to keep talking about the umpires, but there's another week where Collingwood just keep on applying tackle, and we're not getting rewarded for holding the ball when it's actually there. You know? So anyway.
Look, it's hard to sit there and point the finger at some of these decisions, and we all know that some of these decisions they stand out like dog's balls, like that one last week with that Melbourne player. That he got grabbed. The only thing that they didn't have to do is put a rope around his leg, and for him to. That's how bad it was. Anyway, look, just quickly on the game, guys. Adelaide's got some big tall forwards. They've got 3 tall forwards. I mean, Carlton's got 2, but these Adelaide side has got 3 tall forwards. And I actually thought no Darcy Moore. It was going to be a tough challenge. But you know what? Credit to our defence because if I'm not mistaken, this is probably our second week now where we got beaten in the inside 50s, but it was just clear that our defence. Our defence held well, and our kicking is accuracy. Our accuracy at the moment with our kicking is really, really good. So even though we didn't have as many inside 50s, we did really well with our kicking. And it's always hard when the weather was pretty bad. It was windy. It was it was an up and down game. First 2 quarters, I think, could have been anyone's game. I think it was the third quarter that made the difference for us, where we sort of hit the league. I think it was about 3 goals, and we hit the front. I think that was where we beat them, and we just maintained that game. But it's interesting to see that we're now bringing players in. We've got players out. They reckon Darcy Moore might not be playing for a few more weeks. but you can't take anything away from Jeremy Howe. He played brilliantly, and Josh Dacos, another great.
Josh was. I had Josh. I had Josh as our best on ground by far. I thought Houston was actually not too bad when he got the ball, but my biggest thing with Dan Houston at the moment is probably still adjusting to obviously the Collingwood style and the way that we play compared to obviously Port Adelaide. But I was really impressed by like the second tier of players that we've got. So obviously like the Billy Frantons, the Will Hoskin Elliots, Ned Long, Bo McCreary, like all these players stepped up. And they technically, like in a joint effort, won us the game there. But in regards to the game in general, it's just another game where another decent side has challenged us, and we're able then to respond accordingly with our style against theirs and hit them on the scoreboard. Yeah, they came back against us again, like another team does, but we were able to hold quite well. So we're answering challenges, which is fantastic. Also on that, we're managing the players really well. So, you know, we're going to have Sidebottom out this week. Obviously, Schultz is still out for concussion protocols. There's a cloud over Houston. There's a cloud over Darcy Moore. But we've got the young crop of players and the players in the twos to come straight in and play their role. And we, even with that being said, we've got Tom Mitchell, who's only a couple of weeks away, to come back into the side too. And he will get a game because we are managing the players. So if we can continue doing that leading up into the finals, who knows what's going to happen. But all in all, Josh Dacos, best on ground. And I just love the way that Collingwood's responding to all the challenges that teams are throwing at him at the moment.
Yeah.
It was windy, mate.
I was there till the end of third quarter. I had to then jump in the car and take the boy to the basketball game.
Oh, you thought
No, I'm not. We
drove. No way go to the footy.
We drove. We left at the end of third quarter. We left at the end of the third quarter. We're in the car and we had to drive because he had a basketball game at Oak Park at 5 o'clock and we had to leave. So, Scotty, for your answer. But can I just go back on something you said earlier on, Rocco, about Collingwood having the least interstate games? Is that what you said earlier on?
Oh, we've got minimal. I mean, in the second half, I mean, you don't leave the G, so.
All right. Well,
we have travelled like most of the season so far.
Well, Andreas,
that's a word you can't be using. You haven't travelled most of the season.
Well, let's just say round 18 and round 23. Well, hang on, Rocco. Can I just say that round 1, round 6, and round 9, we're playing interstate. We're playing round 18 and we're playing round 23. Now, that's 5 games that we've played across the season. Carlton is playing 5 interstate games this year. Their first game interstate is in round 8.
Yeah, so what?
So you've had a nice little comfortable.
What are you talking about? We had West Coast.
The other round, yeah.
We've had 3 rounds there already.
You had round 8 and round 10.
No, we didn't, and we also had round 5.
Well, who did you play against in round 5?
West Coast.
Was that away? Was it?
I mean,
it was
catch-ups, man. I do the catch-ups.
Okay. Well, I stand correct on that one. But Collingwood's got 5 games interstate.
But my point was, but all right, whatever. My point was this. You're saying there's inconsistencies, and then you said, like, oh, Carlton, do this. And I just stated the fact that there's inconsistencies in the whole fixture. Like, you'll get your inconsistencies. You'll get a lot of games at the MCG, right? And some of those games are there only because the other team wants to play there, but that helps you out, right?
But that's not our fault.
No, but there's still inconsistencies. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. There's still inconsistencies, right? You know that you've got your inconsistencies. This year, we're playing the bottom 2 sides twice. I'll take that, right? I know we're doing that. But you've got your own. Don't you worry. Everyone else has got their fucking own inconsistencies. What about when you play other teams twice, right, that are at the bottom and you're only playing the top side once? I mean, there's inconsistencies every year, and then next year it's going to change again. But don't tell me that Collingwood doesn't get a good run because they're Collingwood. They do, bro.
But
You
we
get
play,
them every
but
year.
Manny,
It's a
Rocco,
money.
we play the
Collingwood's
same.
a money card.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
are.
problem. Collingwood is a money
But
card.
it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be about that.
I know,
But
and I agree.
Rocco, we're also play. We've already played. We've played in Perth. We've played in Adelaide. We've played in Sydney. We've played in Brisbane. Right? We've already played a lot of these interstate games. We play just as much interstate games as other big Victorian clubs. The only difference is that we've got a run of about 14 weeks now, or whatever it is, to the end of the season, where we only travel twice, but we've already done the interstate travel at the start. Right, so yeah, it's inconsistent, but you can't use the argument saying that Collingwood don't travel. We've just done it.
I think over the years, your travelling has been very limited. You might have got a few extra ones this year, but over the years, I'm pretty sure your travelling has been very limited. So, but again, it's not even just about that. There's inconsistencies through the whole fixture, and we've all got to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
100%,
why are we only
100%.
playing? Why are we only playing Richmond once? You know what I mean? Why don't we play Richmond twice? It's a big game that you get a big crowd in. Why don't we play? Why are we only playing Essendon once? You know what I mean? Which might work out good this year because there might be a good percentage boost for us, right? But everyone's got those inconsistencies. But anyway, we've gone off.
Just with that game there, Magpie Manny there, mate. I'm pretty sure if the conditions were a lot drier, I think the LA Crows would have beaten you guys with those potent forwards, mate. So I don't want to get too technical on the game, but I think you Collingwood supporters are getting a little bit over your high horse here. It's only round 10. You're playing some great football. Don't get me wrong.
Sorry, we do. You're right.
They're fantastic. They're playing great football, but it's still a half season to go. And they're resting players, and I think they're getting a little bit too cocky about resting this guy, resting that guy, and they're preparing for the grand final. Just mark your words, guys. Mark your words. Collingwood, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. They're playing some good football, but there's another 13, 14 weeks to go, mate. It wouldn't surprise me.
Can I just say, it is halfway mark. You're right. It is a halfway mark. I mean, if anybody else was going to talk, I can understand. But you talking to me makes no sense because you're right. It is almost halfway mark, but we are sitting on top, and we've got 129.4%. Yeah, percentage.
Now, I understand that.
Hang on. Let me finish. Let me finish. You guys are.
I'm not talking about
20.
Essendon. I'm not talking about Essendon. I'm talking about Collingwood.
We'll get to Essendon. Before we go on, we'll get to Essendon very shortly. Don't you worry about that. We'll get to Essendon.
Mark, hang on a second. Before I go, Mark, you would absolutely kill to be in the position that Collingwood's in now. So if we've got the luxury of managing players because they are more experienced and more older and all these terminologies that every time Dick and Harry wants to use, that's fine. But we have the luxury of resting those players. We had one of the toughest draws leading up into this point of the season. We've played every finalist from last year. We've only lost 2 games and we're sitting on top, clear with a good percentage. So why not manage the players? Why not manage the players?
You're resting players now. You should be resting players maybe towards the end of the year, not right now, because you're not guaranteed. Why would you rest
players towards the end of the year and then wreck your? Why would you rest players towards the end of the year and then wreck your team dynamic and your team consistency leading into the finals with a bye between the finals?
But you're not guaranteed to make finals at the moment. Who says because you're on top of the ladder doesn't mean you're guaranteed to make finals. You could lose the last 5 games, and all of a sudden you're back in the top 7 or 8. But you're jumping the gun, and you guys are jumping the gun, and that's fine because you're playing good football. Don't get me wrong. We're all here to say Collingwood are playing great, and I've admitted that. But at the end of the day, there's still another 14 weeks to go of football, mate. And if you keep on resting your players, and all of a sudden the pressure comes on, what are you going to do now? You're going to keep resting your players towards the end of the year.
Before we go on, I like this, and I'm just gonna. I want to end this because we could go like all day with this, right? But
I'm banter there, Andreas.
No, I love it. I love this. Is what Fourever Rivals is, man. And you know what? The proof will be in the pudding, mate. The proof. Someone will be right and someone will be wrong later on. And this is what we do. We come on here, but I'm gonna Mark. Before we let Andreas go, where is Collingwood going to finish at the end of the year?
At the end of the home and away season?
Yeah, home and away. But I'm going to ask Mark first. Mark?
Well, I think if they keep on resting these players, these older players, I think Collingwood will probably just make the 8.
I love it.
Nah.
As in like you know, the 8, like as in like from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Because I think it'll be
Okay.
You reckon they won't,
Okay.
you reckon they won't finish top 4? I just want to state.
I don't think that.
Someone's going to be right here.
No.
Look, honestly,
Remember,
I think they're playing great football, and I've always said it. But there's a long way to go, mate. And I think what happens with some teams, they get a bit too cocky, and I think they'll probably just miss the top 4. That's
Okay.
my.
I didn't realize we had Kane Corns in the chat here, but whatever. I'm going to say Collingwood. I'm going to say Collingwood are going to finish 2nd or 3rd this year. I think we'll finish 2nd or 3rd. Realistically, I do think Brisbane at home towards the end of the season are going to be too strong to beat up there.
You know what? You're being I see it in your face, mate. You think that you're going to finish on top, right? There's no third or 4th in your brain there, mate. Shut the fuck up, bro. You think you're finishing first, and so you should at this point of the year.
There's a reason why I'm on vertigo tablets, mate, because I'm too fucking high up. I'm getting a bit fucking dizzy on top. That's why. Anyway,
all right, I love it.
Enjoy. Thanks for having me on tonight, boys. I love you all. And just remember to everybody who's watching, it's not too weak to speak up. If you need to talk to anybody about whatever issue, speak to any of us, speak to your family and stuff like that. But have a wonderful week, gents.
And get on and subscribe to his channel, because I think he's getting close to that 1,000 mark, man.
Yeah, I'm about 70 off.
Been watching you, buddy.
That's 70 off. Come on,
watching you.
yeah. I've liked it. I watched some of it and then I spew and I have to get off. I can't watch it anymore.
And I love that. I love that. That's the best. See you, boys. Have a good one.
Hey, guys.
Boom.
Well done. Hey, I'm going to put the link out there. If anyone has got a comment and just wants to ask a question, get on there. Just a quick question, and we can talk about the past. What we've just been talking about. Anyone's got a point of view of umpiring or anything. I want to get as many people as possible on. Let's get some quick questions on there. Let's fire them out there.
Hey, Rocco, I asked this question a couple of weeks ago, and nobody wanted to sort of give me an answer on it. But maybe tonight we might be able to get someone to. We're almost halfway in the season, all right? Where does everybody on the panel predict that their team is going to be finishing at the end of the season?
Can we have this a bit later? Like, it's not a bad question. We'll have it a bit later. You know what? When we're doing our tips, we'll go back. At the end of our tips, we'll give our predictions at the end of the tips, all right?
Okay.
All right? It's not a bad question.
Right.
Before we go on, I just want to say
it's a tough one.
Thanks to Peter Bluebagger. He done some graphics for us again, and he's done another beautiful one here. So before we go, because we've already talked about one game, here it is. Look at this, mate. Fourever Rivals. You got the 4 rivals in the middle. How we felt lost, win, lost. Look at us. Look at Manny there with the guitar, and then we've got the Swan,
the Bouzouki, Rocco.
Fire late to edge our Blues, and then you got the Pies there. Pies shake off a determined Crows. You got the Bulldogs demolish the Bombers. Thank you very much for coming. And then the Roos are trying to get away from the Tigers there, and they eventually got away. So thanks. That is fantastic. I love these guys there.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Very good. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, you know what? Can I say that that looks a lot like Mark?
It does. And the one looks like you. They looks like all of us. It looks like all
that
of
one
us.
looks like a lot like Mark, and Peter, of course, has got me playing the Bouzouki. It's called the Bouzouki. Rocco.
A Bouzouki. All right, we call it a Bouzouki. Either way, it's you.
And who does this for us? Who does this for us? Peter,
MCG, Carlton Reset. It's Peter Bluebagger. So it's this bloke here, mate. Cheers, mate. He's a star, this bloke, man. He does all those things for us, and I love him, man. So he keeps doing that stuff for us. So thanks, mate. Great work. It is great work. I love it. Manny looks Asian, does he?
Oh, ni hao.
Let's have a look again. Oh, yeah, he does look Asian too. Look.
You good.
Oh, and then Mark's got the potato in. And look at Liam. Liam just doesn't know what the fuck's going on there, mate. That is the best.
Pretty much.
We'll get a couple of people quick on, and we'll get some questions up. First, I want to get this bloke. Flag Pies, how you going, mate? How's things going? Where are you from, mate? Where do you live?
Black Pies happening, mate. Black Pies happening.
At the moment. Where do you live? Where are you from?
Fitzroy.
Oh, you're here in Melbourne. All right, Fitzroy. Done deal. So you got a question for the boys, or maybe you want to have a question for Marco there? What's going on? Well, you're the one that's saying they're not going to make the top 4.
Yeah, Mark. What's going on, Mark? Stop the drugs, mate.
What's going on, Flag Pies? I'm not quite sure what's going on. You tell me, buddy.
Hey,
Why do you think that the Pies will slide down? Do you think that they're the Bombers?
No, way near. No comparison. I think Collingwood will make the 8. There's no doubt about it. But I think the Collingwood supporters are probably a little bit too cocky at the moment. They've had a bit of a good run, and they've had some lucky wins as well. Like I said last week, I think that if it was a dry conditions, I reckon Adelaide would have picked Collingwood last week.
If it's a dry condition, Pies will win by 40 points easy. Adelaide got nothing.
No, I think Adelaide.
Can I interrupt here because I watched the game pretty closely. So instead of like saying, we'll win by 40 and then that, I actually analysed the game a little bit there, right? Adelaide did not play their game in the first 3 quarters. And if you notice, they put a lot of players behind the ball and that, and they played a defensive kind of game, right? And you notice that in the last quarter, when they were off the shackles of it, they almost got there. I thought that Adelaide outsmarted themselves on the day. And that's an honest opinion, mate. And that's not saying anything bad about Collingwood. What I'm saying is they did what they did. But if you notice, the first 3 quarters, they played a weird game, Adelaide. They played. I don't know if they fell into their hands or what they did. But you notice, as soon as they released the shackles and they started to play through the middle and move the ball quicker, they looked a lot better. But the first 3 quarters was they were hanging on, but they played this weird defensive game.
Yeah, I would notice that because I was right there too. Yeah, but if you think, why would they play that game? Because Collingwood make them play that game. We structure very well behind the game. It's not because it's because Pies know what they're doing, mate.
No,
trust me, I was there to get.
If that's the case, then why did you do it in the last quarter?
Right?
If that's the case, if you're controlling the whole narrative of the game, right? Why did you control it in the last quarter and almost lost the game? What happened there?
It doesn't matter the 3 quarters. Last quarter is the one that matters. It doesn't matter what they control it, but we want it.
You say that, Flag Pies. I understand what you're saying. Of course, it only matters the final score. I know that. What I'm saying, you're saying it was all you, and there is coaches out there who came out with a game plan. To me, Adelaide, went away from the way they played. And I thought it was a bad coaching performance by them, right? If you're saying you had complete control in the last quarter, why did you run away and win by 40? Because Adelaide then played their game and you went on the back foot. So my question is, why didn't Adelaide do that from the start? That's the way they've been winning their games. So to me, it was a bad coaching performance by Adelaide.
Yeah, look, I think the weather didn't help.
I don't know.
I think that the weather didn't help the tools.
I'm not taking anything away from your win. I'm not taking it away. I'm just observing what I saw on the day, mate. Because I watched it. I was at a pub. I was waiting for my plane. I watched the whole game on a big screen. Me and my son
It's
drinking
good.
beers.
It's good to watch real. It's good to watch real team play. Yeah.
Well, it's good to go that I even go to interstate to watch my team. So you can't tell me it's good to see a real team play, bro. I mean, you could come on here and you could try to bag me, right? But, mate, you can't get a bigger fucking supporter than me, mate. I watch all the football. I love football. But to watch a real team play, I'm telling you, you're doing all right. But, again, on the day, right, on the day,
Adelaide still lost.
Coach, right? Absolutely. I think the Adelaide coach outsmarted himself for 3 quarters. And if you're saying you're so great in that last quarter,
Rocco, calm down. On the day, Adelaide still lost.
Yeah. I know that, but that's not that is like a childish way of looking at it. Oh, you still won. I'm telling you, what I observed was that in the game plan. And what do you think the coaches are going to do this week, bro? You think the coaches are going to go, oh, we won, and let's move on to next week, or are they going to analyze what happened?
Yeah, look,
I wouldn't.
Can I just
I wouldn't
say,
really care.
What do you reckon?
The last 2 games.
What do you reckon they're going to do? Are they just going to say, oh, we lost and walk away, or are they going to analyze what they've done and what they did wrong?
Yeah, they'll analyze it.
Look,
of course.
The last two games, I mean, against Perth, Fremantle, they dominated in all areas. It was our defense. It was our defense that didn't let us down, and our accurate kicking. Again, this week with Adelaide, our inside 50s were a lot less, and it was our defense again, and it was our kicking. So that's 2 weeks where, as a coach or as part of the club, I'll be thinking to myself, you know what? We've actually been. The other teams have been dominating us, and sure, our defense has sort of been keeping us at hold. But you've got to start thinking yourself, can we do this against Hawthorn?
Your conversion inside 50s has been good, and that's what gets you over the line. Over the last 2 weeks, I mean, Adelaide in that last quarter, how many did they miss?
Yeah.
You know, but again, that's bad.
That kicking is bad footy. Yeah, that's not Price's problem.
You know,
that's right.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. You say that Price will be in the 8. Ban it now. Price will be in the end of the season. Price will be minor premiers. That's it. No in between.
So you're saying that Collingwood would be on the top of the ladder at the end of the year. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, minor premiers, not second or third. Minor premiers.
I disagree with that, Flag Boys, and that's what I've suggested before. I just thought that maybe there's still not.
Everybody have their own opinion. I respect that.
And you know what?
I respect the way Collingwood's playing. I didn't say nothing against Collingwood. They're playing some great football, but there's still another 14 weeks to go. So we can all, you know, what do they say? Hatch the chickens before they crack, or crack the heads, or hit the nail on the head.
We got a new one. Hatch the chickens before they crack. We got a new one. I love it. Hey, Peter, we need a design.
Hatch the chickens before they hatch. And the pie.
Cook the egg before it become a chicken.
Magpie Manny knows that. He knows that good football. He's on his high horse. He's got a half a hard on going on. But at the end of the day, another 14 weeks of football to go, and we'll see. Okay, but I think
we'll see, buddy. We'll see. Don't stress. Yeah, buddy.
Hey, listen to me. Listen. Before I let you go, what's the total this week? You're playing North. What are you winning by?
Easy. 70 points.
How much?
70 points. 7-0. 7-0.
Oh, 70 points. All right. Done. Thanks,
easy.
Mate. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy.
See you, mate. See ya.
Go to Bombers.
I love it. Hey, let's get another. Hey, we got our favourite kid here, mate. Liam, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you all?
Good, mate.
G'day, Liam.
Did you go to the Sporting Globe or did you watch it at home?
I watched it at home. I had family over, unfortunately, but
That's
I'll try
all
come
right.
to the next one.
Nah, there'll be the next one, mate. We're playing West Coast next one, yeah. That's going to be a Sunday night. That'll be a good one. That'll be a good one on a Sunday night, 6 p.m. And yeah, we can. What did you? First of all, what did you think of the performance? And then you can ask the rivals a question.
Oh, the performance was pretty good up until the fourth quarter. I mean, to see us like lose it in the fourth quarter of how well we played at the SCG, you would think we'll go on to win, but you know, just a few errors, and we need to fix that against GWS this week. But yeah, just a bit disgraceful, I guess.
It was. That last quarter wasn't good, man. Oh, that last quarter was disgraceful, man. You can't play like what you did and then finish off the game like that. Yeah. Have you got a question for look, Liam? Have you got a question for Liam, Mark, or Magpie Manny? Come on, I'm sure you got something.
Well, with Mark, right? I've got a question for Mark. The way that you played against the Dogs, do you reckon that if you play that way against Richmond, would you beat Richmond at Dreamtime? Would you?
I like that question. It's a good question.
Liam, no. You know, I think it's been a couple of years before we played a game like that, the way we played on Saturday night. But I can't see that happening this week. But yeah, very disappointing. Very frustrating to watch that game. But I think we'll step up a little bit more this week against the Tigers, mate. I don't think we're going to go down by too much. If Richmond,
so you are going down. Ooh.
I like it. Well, we're going to talk about that game soon, man. We're going to talk about the big dream time game between the two cellar dwellers. I reckon
between are ahead of you on the ladder. So
I'm just saying, man, that's where I'm predicting.
5, you're 4.
That's where I'm going to predicting you in the finish, man. That's what cellar dwellers. I mean, you had a chance to be North. There's going to be a big game this week. It's a massive game between Essendon and Richmond, man. It's going to be a huge game at the G at night. It's one of the great events of the year.
Why is it on a Friday this year?
Well, Lou Foligno's just pointed out to us a great statement that was made on a number of occasions by our friend Mark that says, rather lose by 90 than win by 2 points.
Yeah, remember that, Mark? Yeah, and you got your wish, mate.
Your wish has becoming true. There you go. This is really wishful thinking there on your behalf there, Mark. Well done.
Hey, mate, it tends to happen the week after.
Make another wish, man. Make another wish.
It must have been great viewing. It must have been great viewing to see that current.
We're not up to our game, are we? Are we up to our game already? No, we're not, are we?
No, we'll get on to that. Before we get on to that, I'm going to ask Liam another question. Have you seen the fixture for the second half, Liam?
Yes, that's good. I think we deserve those time slots because we're.
So what do we got? Do you know what we've got, Liam? Tell everyone what we got.
We've got Thursday and Friday night games.
Yeah, and a Saturday. I think we got 4 Thursday nights, 1 Friday, and 1 Saturday.
Prime time.
Because you know why? Because we're the fucking Blues, mate, and people want to watch us, mate. What have you got? Liam, first of all? Richmond, what did you get? Did you get any night games or all Sunday?
Nah, mainly like afternoon.
Yeah, I know. But that's all right because at least then your bolter can play.
Yeah, that's
right. That's what we've asked for. You know, we've got to do what's best for our players. So, yeah, no problem.
Well, I just found out, Liam, that on Friday at 19:40, there's a game between two teams that are going to be sitting there. I don't know whether they're going to be playing football or not. However, they reckon on another channel, guess what's going to be playing?
What's that?
The Sound of Music. So I figured, you know what? If we're going to let people, let the families entertain themselves, the Sound of Music. So therefore,
you can go.
If I want to watch a great game of football between Richmond and Essendon, the Sound of Music.
What time was that again, Manny? What time was that?
Your own game. I don't expect you.
a female deer. Three, I don't in the sun.
Come and watch the Bombers and the Tigers, mate. It'd be worth watching on Friday night, I reckon.
Mate,
What's
before you go,
1940? What's 1940? What's that?
yeah, about
Is that-
1940. Great movie. Don't fucking bag the sound of music, mate. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great
I
movie.
loved it.
Before we let Liam go, man, you're a star, mate, right? What's your prediction this week for the Blues?
I mean, it's like the same thing every year. We always lose to Sydney, and then we beat whoever we play at Marvel. So Carlton by 27.
I like it.
Whoa.
27 points, mate. I
87
like it.
points.
I reckon he's on the ball there, mate. I'm telling you, this is a game,
I'm gonna put
mate.
$10. I'm gonna put $10 on that bet, Liam. I'm gonna put $10 on that. Let's see what 27 pays.
I think we're favourites. And before you go, where are the other rivals going to finish by the end of the year, Liam? Where's Richmond, Essendon, and the Magpies and Carlton going to finish? Where are we going to finish, mate?
Okay, so Collingwood third,
Alright.
Essendon 15th, and Richmond 14th. Oh, and
Nice.
Carlton 7th.
Whoa!
Nah.
I'm telling you, mate.
You were doing so
I've
well.
written these down, mate.
Record it, mate. Record it, Liam.
We'll get everyone.
7th Carlton, Collingwood 3rd, Richmond. What was Richmond?
14.
14.
14th, above Essendon and Essendon 15th.
Right, mate.
I love
Why
it.
is he good dude?
Oh, yeah. I thought you liked me,
Understand
mate.
football.
Thought you liked
He
me.
likes
mate.
you, but he doesn't like your team.
No, he likes you. He's being truthful, man. He likes you.
Good on you, Liam.
We're all going to get our crack to put it in.
Well, we're going to have a look at the
We'll see
ladder
who does
later.
it.
There's an interesting little stat on there. We'll have a look at later. All right, Liam, thanks for coming on, mate. Go the Mighty Blues. You going this week?
Yes, of course.
All right, nice, mate. Look out for
Yeah.
me. I'll be the one screaming.
Will
I
do.
think I'm level 2 along the wing there. So
Nice.
Okay. Thanks, Liam.
Thanks
Hit
for
the
all.
road.
Good night.
Don't you dare.
Thanks, Liam.
See you, mate. See
See
ya.
you guys. Take care.
He's a star. He's a
Medication
star.
time.
He's a nice chap. He's a nice chap.
All right, what we're going to do is, do you want to, well, we got this bloke waiting. He's always waiting. So what are you doing, mate? You're bloody having bloody pipes there.
Right.
No
Sleeping
smoking.
in. Oh,
No
wow.
smoking on camera. All right.
I'll
How
smoke
you
you.
going, mate? How's things? How you going?
Fucking shit.
Why?
Because Carlton is a basket case.
Don't worry about that, man. We'll get to that soon. I got you on because we'll talk about that in a sec, right? But while we got you there on a serious note, right? Have you got any questions or anything? You know that's not a lube.
Where's Mark? Where's Mark? Where's
He's
Mark?
coming. He's coming.
Where
We're going
is
to
he?
talk. He'll come back in a sec. We're going to talk about his game in a sec, right? We're going to talk about his game in a sec, right? We're going to let him talk because it's his segment. But have we got anything to say about what we spoke about in the first half of the show? Any umpiring,
Yeah.
rubber walls, anything you want to? I like.
This guy, I can't. Look at Yoda, bro. I can't. He knows I love him. He knows. He knows. He knows.
Hey, but look at the expression, man. It's the exact same expression. Look at the faces. Put it next to your face, man. Put it next to your face.
Yeah. Well,
Put it right next
firstly-
to your face. Look at that. It's right.
That is a bit too scary.
Oi,
man.
Manny.
Oh boy.
Manny, can I ask where'd you get that? I want one.
Oh, sure. We're sorry to find out about you if you like. What was that?
Yeah, whatever you said, but yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Good chat, Matt. Yeah.
Nah, but
Oh.
yeah, obviously, rest in peace to Robert Walls and I think it was Troy Selwood. Was it Adam Selwood? Which one? But
Adam.
rest in peace to both of them.
Anna, Troy was his brother.
Yeah. No, but fine, but the umpiring, what an absolute shit show
Excuse
the
me.
weekend was. It was just putrid all round. I think I watched every game, but yeah, it's just garbage all round. But
And it
yeah,
started with with Thursday night, which was a really good game. Just quietly, I enjoyed that game, mate. The Suns are looking okay, mate.
Yeah, the Suns do look very good. They look extremely good. I think they'll make the top 4 this year.
Yeah.
I think give them maybe a couple more weeks, and I think they'll be extremely hard to beat. Even now, they are extremely hard to beat. So
look at their coach, mate. Look,
he's a proper coach. He's unlike Michael Voss. He's a proper coach. Knows what he's doing.
Look where he's come from.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mr. 20 goals.
Actually, it was you two who said about.
I told you, Mark. I told you last week you were in for a belting. You were due for one.
Ooh.
I did say it.
Now, I didn't clip it, right? But remember what I said to you. You'll lose by 70 or 80 points, right? And I was wrong. I missed it by 10 points, right? But I had a feeling over the last few weeks, if you want to be serious, you have not been travelling well. You're getting over bottom sides. But the Bulldogs are a good side, man. The Bulldogs are a good side.
Nah, they're a class outfit. They're just a
Spot
class outfit. The Bulldogs.
on, buddy. You were spot on, mate. You were spot on.
Never count your eggs till you crack them.
What was it? Did you hear his new one, Seba?
Yeah.
Don't crack your chickens before you get to the eggs.
Don't crack the chickens before they catch or some shit.
That is the best. You know what we're going to do? While we got you there, do you want to have a look at it?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, why not?
Here we go. Then we'll look at yours, Mark. 11. We kicked 11. They kicked 11, 12, 78. We kicked 9, 8, 62. Look, I was up there. Ground was shit house. I'm not blaming that, but it was. It was tough for three quarters, man. Mate, they were getting beaten up. They were slipping over. I could see water on top of the ground, man. It was just because I was sitting like level. I'm going to Dylan, man, look at the water, man. You can't see it on TV, but it was bad, man. And I was saying to Dylan, mate, every time Sydney go near the ball, you got to be right up their ass because there's a chance there's a fumble. That's how bad it was, you know. And I hate the Sydney supporters with their clackers. They can clack them right up their ass. They give me the shit, mate. If you ever go up there, they got these paper clackers, and they all just clack them always, man, like fucking OD, man. So, but apart from that, you know, how much more can I talk about? I suppose there's people here that didn't watch last night's show, but it was disappointing. It was a tough 3 quarters, but then in the last quarter, Grundy turned into Cox and not the one from Collingwood. He turned into Dean Cox all of a sudden, and bloody all of a sudden they were playing wet weather football, dry weather football. We were still playing wet weather football. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. You were playing wet, and they went into dry weather football, and they were just getting everywhere. Apparently, Seba, Voss had a plan for Warner and Heaney, right?
What, to let him run free?
The plan was to get 80 possessions and kick fucking 5 goals between them. That was the plan. So
Voss doesn't even have a plan for when he gets into bed when his missus has got the red panties on. He doesn't even have a plan for that. So,
hey, Rocco, it was only fitting, Seba. They told me that because my team was the only one that won this week, that I should be treating myself to a.
Was that a frappe?
A Sunday.
I thought it was like a frappe or something.
Check him out, man. You shouldn't be eating Sundays.
How'd you get that?
You know
Did you get it teleported in?
Yeah.
Uber me one.
I figured I might as well enjoy the pleasures of life as we go on and on.
Wait up. I'll judge you after this.
Enjoy it while you can, Manny. Enjoy it while you can, mate.
You know, can I just say, I think Collingwood will be judged when they play against Hawthorn, but that'll be something we can talk about in the future. But I'm going to be actually picking the Blue Baggers against GWS this week.
Cool.
Are we on to
I think they'll win, man.
Wait,
There you go.
Manny,
This is the
Manny,
type
there.
of
What
game
flavor
I
is it?
You know what? It's funny you asked me, but it's chocolate, right? But as a kid, I remember I used to get the caramel because nobody liked caramel. So I
Caramel's
would
the
never
best
use
one.
but I used to like caramel. But this one's
Hey,
just chocolate.
before we go on, and is there anything else? I mean, with our game, we've talked about enough of it. It was really
They're just
disappointing.
garbage.
It's typical
I just want to
Carlton.
say, I just want to say that you said that it was disappointing. You know what? I don't even think it's disappointing anymore. To be honest, it's gone beyond that now. They're genuinely they're a disgrace. That's what they are.
Wow.
I think
That's
I
some
think
big
to
words there, Sydney.
They are. I'm sorry, but they're all a disgrace to the jumper. All
Yeah.
22, whatever that ran out there, they're a disgrace to the jumper. And
Wow.
I'll say it, and I mean it with the utmost. I hope that the utmost disrespect. They're the biggest disgraces to the jumper I've ever seen play.
All right.
They
I'm
are
gonna
worse.
ask you a
I
question.
said the same question after the next morning or the night of the game. We were sitting in our mods chat. We were talking. I'm telling you now that 08 to 2013 Carlton side. I would much rather watch that than these bastards that are playing for the club right now
Yeah.
because none of them give a shit. None of them care.
Yeah. And I can see, Sebby, you're hurting, mate. And I'll
No, I'm not
comment.
hurting. It's just
I can see
it's
the
not.
side.
It's just the same shit. They're a disgrace.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah, I can
care.
understand. Yeah, exactly right. You're spot on, mate. But I'm just going to ask you a question. What would be acceptable? The way you guys are playing at the moment, and you've got a great
Acceptable's top four. Don't care.
Okay,
Not
all
top
right.
eight.
That's
Not
the
between
question I'm asking.
fifth and
That's the
eighth.
question
Top
I'm
four.
Okay, so you guys think that you deserve this year to be top four?
No. It's not that I'm saying we deserve it. It's where we should be.
Okay.
Pardon?
Well, every team needs to be top four, right? Every team needs to be top four. I'm just asking the question. What do you think at the moment, the way Carlton are going, the way they're going?
They deserve to be bottom of the ladder.
Well, they deserve that, but where do you think it's acceptable with the way you're going? You know, finish just below the 8, finish in the 8. You're not going to make top 4, obviously.
I don't want to make the top 8 this year.
No, listen, I don't think, Mark, I don't think you're using the right words. It's not acceptable. It's nothing acceptable, right? I think the word is, where do you think they'll finish? It's not like finishing outside of the 8 is not acceptable. Stop, right?
No.
So you can't use that word. For Carlton, it's not acceptable. Is it acceptable? Or I'll ask you, is it acceptable that Essendon finished 9th?
Probably.
Of course it is.
In some ways it would be.
It's acceptable.
Of course it is.
No, but I'm just saying at this stage, right? Because you're on a downfall, right? Would you be, say for instance, you win the next, say there's 14 games to go. If you win the next, say 7 out of 14, would you say, all right, we fucked up at the start of the year. I'm happy with that towards the end of the year. You know what I mean? It's not about making finals. It's not about making the top 4. It's about, maybe looking at it.
Yeah, but Mark, you know what the thing is? We've gone through this roundabout. We went through this roundabout last year, just in a reverse. We won how many games, and then they proceeded to fuck up the whole season from what was it, round 13, 14. Again, round 2022, they did it. And I don't care. People are going to say, and it's the exact same thing as Arsenal. They keep going, but you keep failing at the last hurdle. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
When are you going to get over the hump? When are you going to get over and go and win? There's no more excuses anymore. I don't give a shit. And Petra, they're not bastards. They are. They're a bunch of bastards. Because we pay our hard-earned money every single week. We pay our hard-earned money every single week and put our trust into them, and we get repaid by getting spat in the face.
Of course, mate. I'm with you.
Every year on year. And when people say in 2023, oh, but it was the first time they got there. Oh, well, there's been plenty of other teams that have made the jump and gone straight through.
Yeah.
You know,
But the thing is, we make no, wait, Manny. The thing is, at our football club, and it's now becoming relevant at your football club too. We as supporters, not me, because I don't make them anymore. But football supporters of our clubs, Essendon and Carlton, are now attuned to it and accustomed to it. Where that it's okay to make excuses. No, not anymore. I'm sorry, but it's game over, mate.
Yeah.
It's time
yeah.
to wake up and smell the coffee. And you know
Yeah.
what? You look at your team and say, fuck, we're bad. We're horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I was
Know
just
what I
going to say on that, I actually don't think you guys are bad or horrible. I just think you guys are struggling at the moment to finish off games. That's what it is. Because you guys play most of the time. You guys are playing good footy up to that third quarter.
Are we really, though?
Well, you are because you're keeping up with some of the teams.
Are
You're
we
keeping up
really?
where.
Or are we
It's-
just hanging in there, man?
I don't know.
I think. Can I just have my say here? No,
Yeah, of course.
Actually, I won't say. Can I have my say? I will have my say. It's my show. I'll do whatever. But no, this is what I reckon, Mark. It's not a bad question, right? The point is, where do you think Carlton? If you're asking me, where should we have finished? We should have finished anywhere from 1st to 6th this year, right? At the start of the year. That's what's acceptable, right? At this point right now, I've had this argument with Mars. I know what you're saying. It's nothing but top 4 is acceptable. But sometimes you've got to reassess, right? At this point now, we're right here, right? What would be not acceptable, but what would be something that you go, rightio, they're on the right track? At the end of the year, we would have to finish in the 8 now. And because to get in the 8 from this point would be, it's going to be hard, man. I'm telling you, it's going to be fucking hard, mate. You're going to have to only lose 3 or 4 games for the rest of the year, and you're still not guaranteed to make it. So it's going to be a tough. If you make the 8, you'd say, okay, maybe win a final, maybe not. But then it's from then onwards, what are we going to keep doing? There's no use.
Yeah.
No use doing what we did last year and then do what we did this year. So it would have to be a continuous climb, you know.
But that's the thing. Would you rather, Rocco? I'd rather miss the finals because realistically, that's when they're going to have a real hard look at him. And maybe the supporters will jump on him and then they'll realise rather than last year and fall in and get done by 60 points, 60 to nothing at half time or whatever it was, and have people clapping that we've made the 8 by just falling in. You know what I mean? I'd much rather us miss the finals.
I think on an honest, like trying to be serious here for 1 second is, yeah, I think that the Carlton base and don't get me wrong, you're right. Essendon are on this same page here, mate.
Yeah.
The acceptance of the mediocre performance is okay by supporters. And it starts with the supporters. The supporters have got to demand, right, excellence, right? And the problem is standards. The times may change, but standards must remain the same.
Remain.
And the problem is, I don't think our standards have remained the same. So I know what you're saying. No. Let's just wipe them out and start again. To me, you still got to be trying to win, you know. Do I believe that Voss is the right person? No, I don't believe that Voss is the right person. Do I believe we've got the right cattle? No, we haven't. We have got the best 5 or 6 in the competition. And that's what gets us over the line a lot of times. But as far as game plan, as far as our want, as far as our leadership, we're not there.
Non-existent.
We're not there. We're not there like the top 3 or 4 sides. We're not there.
Mark,
and this is what I was saying to you, Mark, last week. Like you're going, oh, you got to have hope. Man, I'm realistic about this. I'm realistic. I know where we're at, you know, and I know that if we want to get to that top level, yeah, you might win a game here and there, man. Standards have to completely change for us, and it starts at the top. I don't believe we're going to get there. We might make the finals. What does that mean?
Mark, I want to ask the question to you. Now, having what I said before, do you believe that it is now become it's now become just the norm to accept mediocrity at your club too?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's spot on, mate. You're spot on there, mate. Because you know it's all about media now these days.
Because as much as sorry to cut you off, but as much as I can't stand you guys, as much as I hate the living hell out of the Essendon Football Club, it doesn't leave the fact that you guys are a giant of the league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are giants, mate. We are giants.
Any of that.
Carlton are giants. You know, Richmond are giants. Collingwood are giants. We're all giants.
You know what? I don't think at the moment Essendon, and this is not taking anything away from Essendon, but I think Essendon needs to maybe take a huge step back because Carlton, Collingwood, Richmond to a point because they've had these premierships over the last whatever years. But there are other smaller clubs that have overtaken, unfortunately, the Bombers. And let's not kid ourselves. History is about history, and at the moment, you guys are what they call history. Yeah, because for the last whatever years, you guys have not. I mean, you guys struggle to get crowds. You guys get crowds
but, Manny,
once.
we were in that position too. We were in that.
Yeah,
As a Carlton fan, I've gone every single game for the past 15, 20 years. We were in that position too. 2-3 years before COVID, mate, you could move any membership tier. You could move your seat wherever you wanted. We were struggling to pull crowds too. So I'm not going to sit there and let you say, oh, like just them. We were in the same position too.
Yeah,
And
obviously.
it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the
Manny,
same thing as soon as Essendon start shooting back up the ladder. You won't be able to. You'll be on waitlist. You'll be on waitlist for their memberships.
Correct.
No,
you're still on there. So.
No,
You will.
I can tell you.
You got no
I can
idea.
tell you the biggest problem. The biggest problem that Essendon's got at the moment. Let me tell you the biggest problem they've got. Not only they're not performing, but instead of using common sense, and that's what I'm saying. You're talking about a club. They're called what you call thickheads. You know the thick head, real thickheads. Not only are they struggling on the ground, but also what they're doing is they're killing their fans by thinking it's okay to put the prices up. Mate, you know how many? I work with so many Essendon supporters who have said to me, mate, we refuse to renew our memberships because they decided all of a sudden to put the prices up. What are you doing, mate?
They
You're
put
putting the prices up
last year too, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is entice. You're not enticing your fans with the football you're playing, and then you want to on top. Minka, come on, you know what I'm saying? You've got to try and bring it back in.
But that's how it is, Manny. That's the way
That's
of the
business.
AFL.
Before I get
on the AFL, the club decides to do that.
Before I get onto it, on a serious note, this is the facts now, without talking you fucking shit, right? This is the facts, right? The Carlton jumper, right? The Collingwood jumper, the Essendon jumper, and the Richmond jumper are monsters in the league. Yeah. Because they're not performing at the moment, it doesn't mean they're not the big four club. They are still the big. They might not have been winning, like we might not be winning premiership, but you see, Carl, we make the finals, and that Melbourne final, even the commentator said it was the loudest it's ever been at the G. As soon as Essendon start winning, they'll be the same, right? Well, the point is the jumpers are massive. I still say that Carlton is one of the biggest organisations in the country by far, right? By far. Have we been successful? No. But, mate, you can't get 100,000 members and getting wooden spoons, mate. No ordinary club does that. Essendon are the same, mate, to be honest. They're the same. With the big four clubs, it's the jumper that's big. It's not what we've been doing.
Well, you look just down there, that name of the show, the Fourever Rivals. It tells you everything. Those four teams are intertwined in rivalry. Doesn't matter if it's Carlton, Essendon, Richmond, Carlton, Collingwood. Doesn't matter. We've all got huge rivalries. No one has bigger rivalries across the league than what us four clubs do in together. No other clubs have that.
No, we kill it.
You know what I mean? Without us four teams, the league it may as well just be the ADFL.
It's finished. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No, look, I agree. I agree. But my biggest concern at the moment is that, as Rocco pointed out, it's the jumper. It's the fact that these big clubs, are not performing. You got Essendon, who should be a big club, who should be getting the numbers, and they're not getting the numbers. So something's not right at the moment. You know what I mean? And it's disappointing.
Yeah, and you've got to fix that up. And there's as I said, there's too many at the moment. There's too many holes in the boat trying to plug in a lot of things. It's more than just one thing here. So
too many cooks in the kitchen.
Too many, and there's a serious issue. But at the end of the day, right? We're big clubs, mate, and And unfortunately, we're not performing like a big club. That's the problem. We haven't got that killer instinct, mate. We haven't. And I'll prove one thing. One thing that happened on the game when Boyd got hit. I'm fucking disappointed that no one went up to the Sydney player, mate. If that was me, you saw the punch I caught by Linden. Did you see that punch, man? I caught by Linden.
Nice punch,
mate. I'm telling you, if I was on that ground, mate, the bloke who hit Boyd, he would have been dead. I would have done anything to protect my teammate, and that's the issue with Carlton, mate. And that starts from the top. Starts from the top.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Seba, I've got another special guest down there waiting, so I'm going to let you go, man. We talked about the Blues, man. I'm going to see you Saturday afternoon at 10.
Giants by 22.
Really? No, we'll win this.
We'll
win. You watch. I'm telling you, this is a
They
win
have
by
conned me too many times this year.
They'll win. I'm not saying they'll do anything else, but they will win this week. This is exactly what we do, Seba. We'll win this.
I don't think there's a response.
I'm going to give you two predictions. We will win, and the comments in the social media will be, "Where are all you doubters now?" They'll be the comments, and we will win.
I'll give you three things that can happen. It will either be Carlton will win, it'll be a draw, or the Giants will win. On that note. Wow. The Giants by 22.
Wow.
See you, lads.
I love it.
All right. Boom.
All right, we got one more guest. While I think we bring in this guest and then we talk about the other two games. So we got the big Scotty Tompkins. How are you, my friend? What are you doing there? Where's your hat? Where's your fucking hat? I want the hat.
Oh, the hat?
Yeah, I want the hat, mate.
Yeah, I'll get the hat.
Man, you're echoing a lot. All right, that's what I like. I like the hat, mate. That's it. I want to see the wizard, mate.
Sorry, fellas. It's a bit echoey in my empty, lonely home.
Yeah. Maybe. What have you got as far as a mic, or are you speaking on the phone?
Give us a second. I'll just go to my room then. Hang on.
Check him out.
He's having
darts, man. Don't have darts on camera.
I've got to go outside to have darts. I'm not allowed to have darts on the show.
That's not lit. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a bit better, yeah. You're a bit dark, but you look like a wizard. I like it.
No, thank you. First of all, I just want to say a big thank you to the Jumper Punch and the Sporting Globe and everyone that made it to the game last Friday night. I took my dad, and he loved it. He's keen to come to every single Sporting Globe event for the rest of the season, and because he had such a good time, he's keen to come to a game for the first time in over 20 years, and that's all thanks to the Jumper Punch community. So thank you very much, everyone.
See what we do? We bring the community together, mate.
I couldn't get it done. I've been begging him for over 2 decades. But he meets a bunch of northern suburbs wogs and he gets fired up. He said it reminded him of the old days in the standing area at Prince's Park, because that's like his best memories of the club.
Whereabouts did he used to stand? The Heatley stand? Was that the stand?
I had no idea, just a standing area.
Ask him, because that's a big thing about going back in the old days. And look, I'm going to thank Scotty, mate, because Scotty's given me a whole heap of memorabilia, old things, man. And if you notice, it's a bit of an Easter egg, right? If you notice, I swap them around on the show, so there's always something different on there. And I try to make it, like whatever's happening for that week. Yeah, topical. That's the one. So great. So look at this one here, mate. These are they're in perfect condition. The 81.
Yeah, those are my dad's old footy records that I've gifted to Rocco and a few other people that I know. But they're mint condition footy records from 1970 to 2005.
There's something. I want to show you one more thing that I found in here. Oh, here.
Oh,
That's
is that
man. Cooler. And you've got the 95 grand final side on the back there, man. So the grouse memories are. So what do you got to say, Scotty? What have you got any thoughts of the topics, or have you got any questions for the boys?
I just wanted to fill Mark in on a little bit of Scotty Tompkins trivia, a little bit of lore actually, since he played the mighty Footscray Bulldogs last week. But my great grandfather, a bloke by the name of John Craddock, he captained Footscray to 3 VFA flags in 1915, 1919, and 1920. And in 1920, they were, as the VFA premiers, they played Essendon, and who won the flag that year, and absolutely belted them to become crowned champions of Victoria. So when I was watching that game on the weekend, it was just a little bit of that Craddock blood in me. It was pumping, and it was pumping hard, and that Craddock DNA. It was shooting ribbons, mate.
Hey, don't do that, because you lose your voice there a bit when you do that. Like,
yeah, no, I've got 1920s there, Scotty. I think that's when Footscray were. I think it was the VFL and the VFA.
It was the VFA. Yeah, he was the first senior coach for Footscray when they joined the VFL as well.
Yeah, and there was a segment on 3AW about how Footscray coming to the VFL, and it was fantastic the way Essendon and Footscray were kind of really competitive at that time of the year, and that was fantastic. It's good to hear about a little bit of history, the way football generated, and how it come across, and how the
Essendon bought more flags than Carlton did.
Yeah, exactly right. They did. But they did say that Essendon, when they played that game against Footscray, most of the players, I think it was like a bit of an exhibition game, and Essendon had half of their players not playing. But
you having excuses for a game that happened over 105 years ago.
That was in 19. That's correct. That was in 1920. So that's a bit of food for thought. Yeah,
I've actually, because since you've said that, I actually got some footage of the Essendon team that year in the 20s, and here they are. There's this.
Thanks, Rocco.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that Johnny
Draper sitting on top of Merritt. It looks like Draper's on top of Merritt.
Yeah, that's Draper on top of Merritt there,
I didn't have too much to say. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And if I can make a formal request to management for maybe some future shows, when next time Richmond's got a graveyard shift, could we maybe open the game reviews with that? Because Liam, Rocco, and Mark are my top 3 favourite panelists on this show, and I feel like the audience is robbed having to wait so long for a bit of Liam's insight. We have to listen to about an hour and a half of Collingwood drivel every single fucking week now, and I really value Liam's insights. So week after next week, when they're back in the graveyard, it would be much appreciated if we get some Liam time.
Well, there's going to be plenty of Liam and Mark time soon, because we're going to be going over their game, and then there's going to be the big dream time we're going to talk about. So we'll get into that. And so there's plenty of Liam. All right, man. Anything else? Did you have anything to say about what we were talking about in the first half? Umpiring, decisions, Selwood.
My only thought was that when the head of AFL House had that meeting with the Scott brothers and Simon Goodwin over the weekend in Fitzroy. There's a panelist on this show that I don't think could even point out Fitzroy on a map. But do you think that they're obliged to at least give us some idea of what's discussed at these kind of closed door meetings, or is that completely, between the parties involved?
I don't know if they have to tell you and that, but all I know, it was a crisis meeting, and that's not good. If they're getting these coaches and everyone together at round 10, and I don't think they called it a crisis meeting, but why else would you do it? It's not good.
Crisis is good. You want a bit of chaos, but the only thing that worries me is that when those Scott brothers get together, they tend to get what they want.
Yeah, they're powerful. They're powerful men, mate. They're powerful men, and one of them's a great coach, and the other one is just.
And Simon Goodwin's just happy to be there. Oh, he probably spent most of the time in the toilets anyway.
100%. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what comes out of that. And I'm telling you, the AFL are panicking a bit because there's a lot of noise out there, and I'm telling you, things aren't looking good, man. We're talking more about AFL umpiring than we are about the game at times, and that's no good.
Can I just go back to round one when Scotty got excited and he addressed me with a question, which was, how will I be in regards to the Collingwood football team, the geriatric team of 2025? And I said to you that I'll let you know by halfway. Well, we're almost halfway there, Scotty, and I can tell you that we've managed pretty well so far, and we're sitting pretty at the moment. So, sometimes having players like Pendlebury and Sidebottom, it's just all about maintenance. So at the moment, your answer, there's your answer.
Well, thanks for the absolute nothing statement, Manny, because it doesn't address any of most people's criticisms of Collingwood's list as it is. You're starting to mount injuries, and the more injuries that you mount, the more pressure is on those older bodies. So you probably will pull out towards the end of the year, but it's not a non-zero factor that you're just going to stay up high, maintaining this level once you start building up bodies on the bench.
Oh, he's agreeing with Mark here. We got he's actually on the same page as Mark.
It's only round 10, and in round 18, I'll be saying it's only round 18. And then with round 24, and Essendon one game away from launching Gold Coast into top of the ladder, I'll be saying it's only round 24.5.
That's it. I love it. All right. Mate, this is going to play out beautifully during the season, mate.
Yes, all according to plan.
I love it. All right, brother, you going to be the game or?
Yeah, I wasn't going to go, but a mate's roped me in. I got to take him and his missus. They both go for Geelong and Sydney, but for whatever reason, they're really keen to go to a Carlton game lately.
What time are you getting there? Maybe we'll get you into the Legends Lounge and we'll have a beer. Oh, you don't drink.
I'll cast a spell and I'll see you there. I'll let you know. I'll telepathically. All right, yeah. All right. Love you guys.
See you, mate.
Thanks, Scotty, mate. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, buddy.
Cheers, matey. Thanks,
bud.
Oh, man. Hey, before we go on to the next games, Oz gifted JP. Thanks very much, mate. You're a star, man. Just give me a second because there was one earlier on that I wanted to show and I forgot to show it. So before we go on to the next games, I just want to show this next one. Hold on. We're almost there. It was way right at the start and I feel bad for missing out. We're getting there. We're almost there. I had to go right to the top. So, yeah, this is great viewing, watching me scroll through. Oh, here we go. No, we're all there. This is great viewing there by...
Come on, Manny. Show us one of your dance moves.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, so it was this one here. It was Lone Wolf with $5. Was a shit weekend, but watching Essendon against the Bulldogs made it a bit better.
Wow. Lone Wolf, mate.
That was fantastic. And I think that's quite appropriate that's quite appropriate about what we're going to be doing here. Thanks, Lone Wolf. And then Petra Khan. The AFL is the biggest spectator sport in the world as per capita basis, and it's due to the big four Melbourne clubs. Good night, Petra Khan. $5. Thank you very much. And that's what I was saying before. It's 100%. It's all because of us, man. I'm telling you. We're the ones that we might not be successful, but I'm telling you, we're the ones. Why do you think everyone wants to play us on a Friday, Saturday night at the G, mate? So move on. All right, while we're here, we'll get I think I want to get this one on first, and then we'll get this one on first. Where is it? I reckon it's I'm trying to find which one it is. Here. Richmond, 11,874 to 12,678. They had their chances, but they fell short. So, it was actually a decent game, man. It was a decent game to watch, and they both had chances to win this game.
Yeah, look, obviously it's a disappointing result. I thought that's a game that we should be winning. And to be honest, it's a game we should have won. I thought we were the better team for a lot of that game. I still don't think North Melbourne are that great. I think Collingwood will smack them this week pretty hard, to be honest. We came out slow. I think it was 6-1 early in that game. That's not good enough. We didn't come out. We weren't ready to play. And credit to North Melbourne, they took advantage of it. They were very efficient going forward. We weren't. When you go down by 5 goals early in a game, it's always going to be hard to come back. But credit to us again. We worked hard. We came back, started doing those little things right again. So many good players to mention again. I think Seth Campbell, I may go a little rogue here, but I reckon if he was in a better team, he'd be an All-Australian mix. That guy is sensational to watch, hey? And he's starting to push up the ground more for us, which is really good, getting involved in stoppages. He's beating his opponents, working both ways. Like, he'll work up the ground, he'll sprint back to the goal, and he'll get over the top. Really loving what he's doing. Who else has been good? Those two midfield boys, Taranto and Hopper, really good. Not necessarily in the stoppage this week, but around the ground, seem to have a bit of pace away. Kane McAuliffe, he was actually really good in the stoppage. He's one with a lot of Richmond fans. We've been calling to get in the team. He's finally got his chance. He's doing a really good job. It was for a lot of it a very contested game, though. I think there was maybe like 140 stoppages or something crazy like that. I don't know how to check that exactly from what I'm looking at, but yes, it was a high stoppage game. Like, the battle between Sherry and Arman Nank in the ruck was amazing, and maybe Nank lost in this one, but his effort was incredible. But look, we worked hard all day. I think the biggest thing was, I think Rocco kind of said it just at the start, we probably didn't take our chances in front of goal. We had a few really nice link-up plays, particularly in the second half, where we got the hands, we got the run. I thought Hugo Ralph Smith played one of his best games for us. He ran through, created a lot of play going forward for us. Jack Ross has also been really good at it as well. He's had a really consistent year. We just didn't get the score on the board. There was a couple easy chances that we missed, which was pretty disappointing. And then that last 10 minutes, it was so hard. We were within 4 points and we had all to play. We just couldn't get a score. And like North Melbourne were terrible. They kept constantly turning it over. Like, they'd maybe keep it for 2 or 3 possessions, and that was it. We'd work so hard, and then we still wouldn't get a chance. Look, I think we should have won. I thought we played the better game. It's definitely good to put in a few good performances, but going down sucks, and especially against a team that I don't think are that good.
As I said, I watched the last quarter especially. You had your chances for sure, man. And there was a couple of times you went forward. I think it's just the wrong decision. So it could have gone either way. It was actually what I expected. 2 lower sides, young sides playing a brand of footy. That's I think I said this about you guys. At least you're playing a brand of footy. I think it's going to be okay for the future. But at the moment,
I think, yeah. Look, there's definitely signs we're working towards something good right now. We're young, we're inexperienced. That's all it was. I mean, I mentioned it to a couple people chatting about the game. Luke Parker on the other team, experienced
he's
player.
been good.
Melbourne got across. He was probably the only one out there. I was like, this guy's a good footballer. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to close out this game.
We wanted
different,
Parker
yes.
at Carlton. We thought he would have been a good pickup for Carlton. Experienced, you know what I mean? That's the kind of player we needed. Like, I think he would have been good for our guys. Hey, listen to this one. Richard retires Dusty 1 and Dusty 2. He's there 6 months later. It's fucked. You reckon he's the next Dusty? He looks good.
He does look good. He was probably one of our best as well. I didn't mention him, but yeah, he's probably his most consistent. I think I don't know who had said it, but someone else, and I agree with them, is he's so calm on the ball. Like when he gets the ball, like you just kind of like, oh, like Lawler's got the ball. He's gonna do the right thing. You trust him. He's like those guys down back who also had a great game for Loston and Broad. Like you just trust him. You're just like, yeah, this guy's got the ball.
100%.
Yeah.
And I've always said, a good player when they look like they got time. He always looks like he's got an extra little bit of time. He's not rushed, and that's a good footballer. He's got big hips at that too, man. He looks like he's done all right, man. You've done all right with that pick.
Similar to Dusty as well in the fact that he actually plays a very team orientated game. He'll go through and he'll break the tackle, but he's looking to give the hands off to the next player. He's not like I need to break 50 tackles and go score every goal. He's kind of like, no, let's just do the smart thing. If there's an easy option on the hands, I'll give it. And he goes hard when it's in the air. He takes some really good contested marks as well, or like good overhead marks with a bit of pressure on him. Yeah. You're right. It's exciting times ahead, but yeah, after a loss to North Melbourne, when we should have won, I'm a little.
Yeah, of course, especially when you come that close. Yeah, so that's it. All right, we're going to move on to the next game.
Yeah, we're pushing for time, boys.
I think we've got plenty of time for this game.
Have we? I don't think so.
Pushing for
I think we've got heaps of time for this game, mate. We got to fucking hell. I haven't seen numbers that big. Is that 18, 19? Is that 127 to 5, 6, 36, mate? That was an absolute thumping apart from the first 10 minutes where the score was like 1 goal each or 1 point. It was just fucking, and then after that, it just went ridiculous, man. It went ridiculous. It was really like, I hate to say it. Right? No, I don't. It was that, mate. It was witches. They would have, I'm telling you, my team here would have scored more than Essendon.
There was apparently there was an issue with the TV channel rights. I think they almost had to shut them down because there was a broadcast that was saying apparently there was a porno on TV. And then they're all confused. And then somebody turned around and said, you should have seen Essendon get fucked so hard by the doggies. So I thought, Jesus, that's a bit rough. So there you go, Mark. You can go off that now, matey.
Anyway, Mark, you watched the game. Where did you watch it?
Oh, look, mate. Look, I was actually at my brother's birthday on the Saturday night there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it his birthday?
It was his birthday on Saturday night, yeah. And
mate, say hi to it.
There was probably about 20 odd people there watching the game, but man, I don't even know where to start, boys. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
Not for us.
No, you guys would have probably enjoyed it most of the night, but I'm starting to, I've got to get like a stripperess. What's that word? A stripperess. I've got to start getting our strippers about this shit, man. I'm sick and tired of it.
What's that? What is that word? I don't know what that word is.
Our stripperess, stripperess. What is it, man? You're the philosophy king here. I'm getting out
Hey,
strippers.
listen. Why don't you stick to something smaller and just say strippers? Because
I'm going to the strippers. I'm going to the strippers.
All right, tell us
But anyway,
what
at the end of the
what
day,
you
in a
thought
nutshell,
about that performance.
okay, look, like I said, it was pretty hard to watch, mate. And I'm not going to make any excuses, but I still have to find an excuse. I have to find some excuse. Where the rest of the
There can't be an
where the
excuse.
rest of where the
There
rest
is
of the
no
where the
excuses
rest
for
of the
that.
coach, where the rest of the players, where's the list? And I've come up to my last excuse. This is the last one. And you know what it's called?
Here it is. Wait, before you go, Mark. Wait, before you go. Is that the word? Obstreperous.
Oh,
I don't know what that
I
means.
do not know what that means. I've got to Google that. I've got to Google that one.
While you're doing it, can you Google it, Liam? I want to know what the meaning of that is. But go for it. What's the last excuse?
Well, the last excuse is what I just said just then. It's about culture. And we spoke about it a bit, Rocco, with Carlton. Culture. That's the last excuse I can do with that performance on the weekend. We have not got the culture at the Essendon Football Club, mate. The players are not playing for the jumper, for the colours, for the code. It's gone. It's all about money. Yes, they go out every week. They perform. You know, they get paid for what they do. But there's no more culture in the club, and it's got to change. It's got to change very, very quick, mate. Otherwise, we're going to start heading towards the bottom of this ladder for the next 10, 15 years. Bring the culture. Bring the effort. Bring the toughness.
bring James Hurd. Bring James Hurd back into the club.
We're going to bring into the club.
But no drugs this time. Bring Hurd back, but no drugs.
No. So look, I mean, I was devastated. You know, sometimes when you watch a game and you go, oh, it's half time, we're down by 10 goals. And, you know, like you were saying, Rocco, you know, it's all about faith. And I spoke to my brother, I go, you know what? In the third quarter, you just don't know. We might kick 7 goals in a row.
Oh, my God. But that's the dumb supporter.
You haven't got to a game and all of a sudden a team, you know, if they can kick 10 goals in the first half, why can't we kick 10 goals in the second half? That's my reason of thinking. I think to myself, if they can do it, why can't we do it? And obviously,
Mark,
the conversation comes up as if to say, "Come on, man, we haven't got the cattle. We haven't got the cattle anymore. It's not like it was 2000, where we can come back and do that." And I'm still wishfully thinking, "Come on, man, if we get the first 4 goals in the third quarter, we're down by about 3 or 4. You know, the last quarter we can come back." It didn't happen. It got worse. If anything, it got worse.
It got worse, all right.
It got worse. And by half time, I just thought, you know what, boys, you know, God, come on, boys, just outscore them at least in the second half. And it didn't happen. It just for some reason, it's like everyone stopped. Very disappointed. If it happens again, honestly, I'm not coming on the show again. If it happens again,
bullshit. You'll come on the show.
So what I'm going to say, I can only have a couple of line lights to the game. It was Archie Roberts, another young fella, 29 possessions. You know, he can only get better. And Nick Martin, again, 25 possessions. You know, obviously, you know, you can't rely on those players to win your games. But apart from that, really, there was not much more to say about the Essendon Football Club on the weekend. And if they don't start smartening up, I'll tell you right now, things are going to happen. Things are going to change. And things have to change. Because, you know, the supporters want to go out there and we want to win and we want to be successful. But if we don't win, the supporters start moving away. So
that happens to all clubs. Now, I'm going to ask you some serious questions, right? Because I've been on the back of like 90, 100 points lost. It's tough, man. Look, as I said, you might think that I'm just a dumb fucking wog who gets punched by Olympians, right? But I kind of watch the game. I kind of know what's going on there, right? But, you know, and I saw your team's not traveling well way before you played the Doggies, right? It was going to happen. It was going to happen because you're just not playing well. You're saying it's the culture, yeah? Whose fault's that? And whose fault? Where does it start? Because, all right, maybe we've got a bit of that too. So whose fault is it, Mark? Whose fault is it that your club has got a shit culture at the moment?
Yeah. How far does it go, mate? I don't know. I'm not.
I don't
know. That's it. Is it the culture, mate? It's about like the pride of playing for your club, like the Bulldogs, mate. Even though they haven't had success,
Mark? Where does that start, man? Because it has to start somewhere.
Where the board?
I don't know.
Where?
I think it starts with the coach. I really believe that. I think it starts with the coach.
Yeah,
it starts with the coach.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, the reason why I say that is because 4 years ago or 5 years ago when we had what's his name?
Buckley.
I keep forgetting him. He was he was a superstar player for us too.
Buckley.
Right? Buckley. We had Nathan Buckley. And then sorry, a bit of a mental failure. Right, we had Buckley, right? And then McRae took over, and McRae changed a lot of the culture at the club. So it's got to start from somewhere. I honestly believe it starts from the coach. Not taking anything away from Buckley, but you know, the coach plays a huge role. You know, and the problem is
for Collingwood, mate.
And the problem is, but the problem is that if you're going to end up getting, say, for example, Voss. Now, I reckon Voss potentially can be, you know, a good coach, but the problem is he's just a puppet, right? Because you got the board that sits and tells him this is what you got to do, and this is and that's what the issue is. You got to have someone who's going to go in there and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I'm going to get a team of leaders, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to stick to, and I have to stick to it. And I think that's anyway it's going to change. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I just reckon, Mark, it goes further than the coach. The coach is a representation of the club, but it goes beyond that. You have to start from the fucking top, and if you can't get good leadership up the top with the right attitude, right? It just flows down to the bottom, and then it gets all the way. Your players, right, do not give a fuck. They do not give a fuck because they would never let. What did they do on that night to stop that? None of them. Maybe Merritt. Look, Merritt's a leader. I'll give you another question. Who's your leaders on the ground? Who's the leader? Who's the leaders?
No, there's no leaders.
That's right. And whose fault is that?
Yeah. Well, that comes from the top, mate. I'm not gonna jump into any conclusions at the moment, but today I saw on the media again that Zach Merritt was having a bit of a chat with a couple of some Essendon greats locally. And it was Joe Watson.
But he reckons, sorry, Mark, he reckons that they've done that before. It's not just now. They've done it before. He's organised it, and he does it every once in a while to get.
Okay. Yeah. So but it was probably due. It was probably due to happen again, knowing that you got Matthew Lloyd and you know James Hurd and Dyson Heppel and Joe Watson having a coffee with you, mate. That's an aura as it is.
Yeah.
So it must be saying something to Zach Merritt as if to say, you know, let's get some leaders. Let's you know, I don't know what the conversation was about. Don't get me wrong, but it was good to see that it happened, and hopefully it changes. It needs to change for the culture. That's what the conversation would have been all about. The culture of the Essendon Football Club.
And will it change? You just don't know. Look, you're getting some love here. When Scotty gives you love, a very honest analysis, Mark, we love it. That's all we ask for.
We don't want to lose
It's all just rubbish.
Yeah, and we don't want to lose by 90 points. I think these days, when you lose by 90 points, 100 points these days in football, I don't think that's just not acceptable because it's too competitive these days. You can't lose by that much. It's because there's no effort. They're giving up, and that's a bad sign. That's not a
100%.
good sign, right?
100%. Who was the one? And I talk about Carlton with this at times. Who's the one who stands up and says, right, I'm taking control of this. I'm making sure, you know, and sometimes I feel we haven't got, I reckon we've got I reckon we've got 2 leaders on the ground. That's how I reckon we got Cripper and we got Wiedering.
Yeah.
I reckon the rest aren't real leaders. You probably got one, which is Merritt.
Yeah. Well, it's tough, and it's tough when you've got only that one. You know.
That's
but,
right.
Look, I mean, yeah, we're not going to the tips for the next game, but we cannot do that again this year at all, because I think if it does happen, I think there's going to be some issues, some changes. But
look, I agree that we don't want to see these blokes play anymore.
Just this week.
I am still, Rocco, looking at the block sector, and I think the next 4 weeks we're playing Carlton. So I'm looking forward for that.
I'm worried for you blokes, because we're going to bring your percentage from 81 to about 61. Talk about that. Let's have a look at your percentage, man. Let's have a look at what's going on here, Manny.
All right. Well, the Magpies are sitting pretty on top. Geez, that's a beautiful picture there. Look, it's going to be we're halfway there, as Scotty pointed it out, and it's going to be a long season. And I agree, it is going to be a long season, but can't take anything away from the Mighty Pies. And, of course, you've got, I think it's going to be a close one between I think Richmond, forget Richmond for this year. It's just a case of trying to, rebuild and, take from here and whatever and so forth. But I think potentially, I honestly think Carlton's probably the one team that could be knocking on the door of the 8. And I think the Bombers at the moment are looking shocking. So it's sad days for the other 3, but Magpies are looking pretty.
I just want to point out 81.3. Mark. You got like
Point
the
2.
4th worst percentage. And
Point
that's
2. Don't give him point 1 credit. Point 2.
Yeah, point 2. Well, it's right in front of the white there, so I can't see. But, that's pretty bad, man. That's pretty bad, man. That's pretty bad. And Peter, remind you, didn't you say you're going to disguise as a spud once Carlton lose to Essendon?
Yeah. I've got the costume just about ready to go soon, buddy. So
I love it.
Beware. You want to see it, mate. There's some props going on soon, mate. There's some props coming on soon.
Yeah, there better be, because at the moment the only props are
Draper's riding Merritt.
Look at that. That's like Draper taking a mark. Woo!
Hey, you know what, right. Merritt to sit on top of Draper?
Nah. All right, let's get into next week, man, and we'll get into these, and let's get some tips going.
Ooh.
Where are you going? We need to do the tips.
We've got preview our game, man. Oh.
It's going to go get a pie.
What'd you say, Liam?
Hey, he's got to preview our game, man.
Yeah, well, yours is a big game. Yeah, all right, let's start it. All right, the first one here. Let's go. We got the Cats, and hey, this is going to be a huge game. This game here, and it's going to be the Bailey Smith Cup.
Bontempelli. Smith and Bontempelli.
No, well, it's Bailey Smith since he's gone from. There's been a lot of word on Bailey Smith going over to the Cats from the Bulldogs, and he had a bit to say about the Dogs, saying that he was saying about them playing up in Ballarat, and then they had something to say about him. So it's going to be interesting. So in this game here, I'm actually looking forward to this tomorrow night.
Good game.
Apparently, I didn't know this, but Bontempelli and Bailey Smith will exchange a few words on the day.
They will. Don't worry about that. It's going to be good. But Liam, this is yours. Who's playing and where are they playing?
Yeah, so it's a Thursday night game. It is down in Geelong. It's a tough one to tip, to be honest. I'm pretty on the fence. I kind of want to stick with Geelong as the home team, but Bulldogs are playing pretty good. I'm going to play safe this week. Let's go Geelong.
You're going Geelong. I'm going Bulldogs.
I took too many risks last week.
Bulldogs are almost favourites at the moment to win the print, mate. The way they're playing is like they got a complete team at the moment. And Geelong, have shown last week that they're losing down there. It's not like they're travelling great, but then they go over and win by 80 points last week. So who knows? But I'm going Western Bulldogs.
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think Geelong's going to lose 2 games in a row at home. But yeah, the Bulldogs are playing some good football at the moment. But there's another 13 games, 14 games to go. So Geelong for me.
Yeah, I agree. Geelong for me.
All right. Taking an easy one. All right, let's do the preview. Let's go for it, Liam.
Big one. Friday night, MCG, the dream time at the G. Essendon versus Richmond. It's going to be a big one. I'm excited. We've got a couple changes. Obviously, Tom Lynch is concussed. That's a big out for us.
Yeah,
We've got
that's
other
a big
out. Yeah, so we're gonna make a few changes. I'm not sure if we're gonna bring in another tall forward. Depending who we bring in down back, I think maybe Campbell Gray will come in. Maybe Jacob Blight comes back in. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow when teams get released. But there's a couple of changes that we are going to make. I think Morris Rioli will likely feature as well. He's unlucky to miss last year. I think he was injured. I reckon he'd love to be out there for this Dreamtime fixture. As far as can we win? Absolutely. I do still think that we can win. Hardest thing about coming up against Essendon at the moment is they've been obviously coming off a belting. Yes, maybe their form isn't great, but you don't think that they're going to be getting baked at training all week saying, hey, like what you've just served up is terrible. Don't do that again. They're going to come out pretty hard on Friday night and be like, hey, this is a big game for the club. You've just put up a stinking performance. We need to do better. Biggest thing I'm worried about is around the centre clearance. We always get smashed around there. And while I don't think Essendon have been amazing there this year, I still think they've got a lot of players that are going to be challenging for us. And, like any game, you let a team get first use of the ball. Essendon do have a few pretty good ball users. I think Mark mentioned Nick Martin before. I think he's a gun. He's a really good player by foot. It's going to be tough, but I think I'm sticking with my team. I think we're going to win. Yeah, let's go Richmond. Come on.
Nice. Mark?
Yeah, you got a couple of good points there, Liam. I think Richmond are really playing some really good football, especially the young fellas. But some of the players that you just mentioned that might be playing this weekend, I don't even know who they are. So kudos to those players and congratulations to those players. But look, I'm going to the game. I'm actually going to the game this.
You actually going to a footy match?
Nice.
I've been to a few games this year, Rocco. I'll just make my own selective games to go to. But I think this game, obviously Dreamtime, it's going to be fantastic. I think the weather is going to be pretty shit. I think it's going to be like 14 degrees and rain. So the pre-game entertainment is going to be hopefully good watching that. But I think we've got a stronger side coming into this game, and I think that we're going to debut another player by Angus Clark. I think is a back flanker. So this would be our sixth debutant player that's playing this year. Look, I reckon it's going to be a really close contested game. But I think if we can stop Richmond's young players from getting the ball, I think it's all about stopping Richmond's young players. I think we'll go a long way, and I think we'll win by 3 goals. But it's going to be a really good game, and I think the weather conditions are going to take a toll on this game on Friday night, mate. So kudos to you, Liam, mate. Hopefully your team wins, but we're the Tigers of all. We've all got small balls, and we're from Tiger, yellow and black.
Right. You can't bag our song. We have the best song in the league. No one can argue that.
Yeah.
I reckon GWS. GWS got a great song.
That's fair. We'll get to hear that on
I like
Saturday.
the
as
song.
well.
Anyway, I'm going for. I think the Tigers are going to win. I can't see you coming back from 90 points down, mate. There's no chance. You want an 18-goal turnaround? That's not going to happen. No, yous are done. I think Richmond will win, and they played not too bad. The only thing is they did lose Lynch. I'm a little bit like I didn't like that move there, but I think they're going to work around that. And yeah, I'm going for Richmond.
Bombers for me.
All right, so we're going 50-50. All right, next game.
All right. Moving on to Saturday games. It's another big one. Carlton Giants. Is this one being played at Marvel or is it at the G?
Marvel.
I don't know if that helps. But I still think the Giants are a pretty solid team. I believe it's Toby Green's 250th game.
It is. It's Toby Green's 250th. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get up for that, and Manny will get to hear the best. What you think is the best song in the league. So yeah, go Giants,
guys.
Marco.
Manny, someone fucking give a tip.
Who's
tipping? I'm gonna put my money on Carlton. Count.
Mark.
Going to play at Marvel?
Yeah.
Not the MCG. Okay.
He's going to flip the coin. You watch.
Flip the coin.
I told
Ready?
you.
Here we go, boys. It is heads.
Count. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, this is the game we'll win. We'll win. It's easy as that. This is Carlton. We go to Sydney, we play shithouse, and then we'll go over and we'll beat the Giants, and everyone will be jumping up and down thinking that we're back, right? But I think we'll win. I don't think the Giants are traveling too well. I think we've got too much firepower. They don't really travel. I think they've only won 2 out of their last 9 or 7 at Marvel. They don't travel too well. They're actually a very Jekyll and Hyde kind of team. They had a good win a couple of weeks ago. They get smashed, and then but no, I think we get TDK back. We might get Akers back. I think there's 3 or 4 that are coming back. So I mean that's a big for us. TDK was big last week, missing out. So TDK is going to be a big one, and yeah, I think the big boys up front. I think we got them, but don't worry, they got some dangerous players there. But yeah, Carlton for me. Next.
Done. What's next game?
Another good game.
This is a big matchup. Hawthorn versus Brisbane. Brisbane, bit of a shock loss on the weekend or on Sunday, I think it was, against Melbourne at home as well. Hawthorn, they've been playing pretty good footy all year, and I don't know I think I've got to stick with Hawthorn. I don't know if Brisbane can respond. They haven't been playing amazing. I'll stick with Hawthorn.
Their last 2, I mean, they drew to North and then they lose on the weekend. Mate, they lose this, all of a sudden they've lost or not won the last 3 games. I'm going Hawks this one.
Yeah, Hawthorn for me.
Yep, Hawthorn for me as well.
This one here, I'm going go for it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, at Marvel as well. Oh boy. North
yeah,
Melbourne,
so this game here quite interesting. Before you go on, we play at 12:35. Finish the game, they clear the stadium, and then the second game is going to be played there.
Mate, I'd try staying for a double header. That's interesting.
Yeah, just sneak into the toilets.
Maybe, yeah. No, look, North. North did pretty terrible against us. They won. Collingwood are playing well. Easy tip, Collingwood. I hate saying that.
Yeah, Collingwood for me.
Yeah, I'm going.
Sorry?
No, go.
North, they played quite well at Marvel, so North Melbourne by 1 point.
Wow.
Ooh, that's That's huge.
Hey, remember last year, North was like 10 goals up or something. Remember 48 points up and Collingwood came back and then they should have won North because they should have got that 50-metre penalty where he went over the line. So,
that is
but
true.
yeah, that's not going to happen this time. Collingwood will win this
We shall
easily.
see. We shall see.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next one over here on the Saturday night, Optus Stadium. Fremantle or Wally Up, as they want to be called now. And the fans say that they want to be Wally Up because they actually play good when they're named that. Against Port Adelaide, who they look terrible. Yeah, Port's not a good team anymore. Hey, let's go Fremantle or Wally Up.
I'm going Fremantle too. I agree with you. Fucking Port. It's time to, I reckon the coach should move on quicker than the end of the year, but they won't.
Yeah. Will yell it for me.
All
right.
Yep. Wally Up for me too.
All right, fair enough. And
Wally up.
The last three coming up. This one should be.
What's Adelaide's? Oh, I'll just stick Adelaide and West Coast in Adelaide. West Coast did really good to get a win. It's well done to them. A few people were happy with that. But Adelaide are playing great footy in that home. Yeah, easy win. Adelaide.
Nice. I'm going Adelaide also. No chance West Coast will win this, even though it was a good performance to get their first win against the Saints, but no, they won't beat Adelaide over there.
Yeah. Kuwarna for me. Kuwarna for me.
Kuwarna for me too. Kuwarna for me too.
Kuwarna.
There you go. You guys know these words better than me. It's an easy one. Nam, I can read that. Yep. But yeah, so what? Melbourne versus Sydney. This is actually an interesting one. I don't know how it's going to work. Sydney. I don't know. What do you guys? Are Sydney good?
Nam. I'll have some Nam.
Nam. We'll tip Nam.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do a coin toss. I don't know.
I'll have some garlic Nam with that.
Do the coin toss. Yeah, good on you, Liam. Get in there, mate.
All right, we'll go heads. We'll go heads for Nam, tails for Sydney. Tails, Sydney. Done.
Ooh.
There we go, boys. On the coin flips.
Wow.
It's a clear strategy. You're like 10 tips out of me.
Melbourne for me, just at home. People say no.
Oh boy.
Think about it, Manny. Think about it.
I've already said Nam.
Oh, no. Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I said garlic Nam. I can't hear Rocco.
Rocco. Breaker, Roger.
He's gone mute.
He's gone mute.
All right, I'm back.
Get him
I'm
off.
back.
Get him off. Hurry up.
Last game.
St Kilda.
St Kilda versus Gold Coast. Also at Marvel. Is every game at Marvel this week or what? I don't know.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
Right. Nah, you can't trust St Kilda after that performance, but then I don't know. Gold Coast still don't travel well. We beat them over at Marvel not too long ago.
Right.
But nah. Oh, I hate St. Nah, I'm tipping Gold Coast. Tipped against Saints last week and it worked, so
Yeah, I'm going Gold Coast. Saints are shit, even though they play better at Marvel for sure. Higgins, second on the goal kicking just quietly for a small forward. That's pretty interesting. But I'm going the Suns for me. I'm telling you, they'll finish top 4.
Yeah, Suns for me.
Yep, spot on. In a way, Gold Coast, if they win this week against St Kilda at Marvel, they will make the top 4, but it's not going to happen. So St Kilda for me.
You're going with the Saints. I like it. All right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's going on. Last week, we all got 4. So really no improvement. No one's gone ahead. No one's gone behind. So it's still Mark 59, Manny 57, and me and Liam 51 and 50. But as Mark says, it's plenty of time to go.
Plenty of bread to go. Plenty of bread.
All right. This has been a good show, man.
Yep.
Scotty reckons he's heading straight to the Westgate Bridge at about 4 o'clock after the game. Yeah, and there could be a few. They've got those things. Yeah, I'm telling you. But I reckon we'll win that. So yeah, no, it's been a great show. Yeah, it's been good, guys. A lot of stuff. Yeah, that's it. Again,
Pretty much.
I think I mentioned it before. This show started for 1 hour. This show started from a 1 hour show, and it's gone over 3 hours, and there are still 60 people in the chat.
Yep.
Is that amazing?
Anyone in the chat, sorry, Rocco, I'm not going to interrupt, but anyone in the chat that wants to talk about anything, about any issues or problems, please speak up. You got 4 boys here to have a chat with if you want to. Personally, you're more than welcome to text message me or the boys. But let's just talk, guys, men and women out there. Just before we leave, just talk to somebody at least. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%, man. We're all here. As I said, we've built this little community. If you need to talk to someone, write a message. Man. Like, we're all here, especially men. Men, we're a little bit like, we don't need help. But at the end of the day, man, all it is a chat, man. And then you'll quickly work out that, you know what? We're all the same, mate. We're all the fucking same, mate, you know? So, yeah. Well said, Mark. Yeah, 100%, man. Well said, Mark. Yeah, so that's good. All right. Thanks, guys. Look, I've had a couple of messages here. People want to see me get punched again. So what we'll do is we're going to watch that again and then we'll go. But, yeah, everyone, I think they're quite liking me getting punched. I think I got a couple private messages saying it should have been in the face. But, yeah, we don't want to wreck this kind of fucking beauty, man. That's untouchable. But I'll get punched in the chest for sure, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll finish off with that and we'll say our goodbyes and I'll finish off with a nice punch in the guts for Rocco, eh? How's that sound? All right. So
that's good.
Thanks, guys. And just remember,
hot pie.
And we are the mighty fucking Blues.
Get it, dogs, mate. Bang. Bang. In there.
Oh, fuck it up.
No tense.
Hang on. Just turn a little bit that way. There you go. So, listen, I'm so fucking scared here. You don't want me to hit you hard though, do you?
Yeah, give him one. Give him a fuck, he wanted it. 6 out of 10, I reckon.
Why did I agree to this? Ready? Give it up. No, you got me.
Smashed him, mate. He told me to do it.
Go, boys. All right, what's happening here?